like the giant dragon is singing. I always felt that. So how you doing there, Pete? Okay, I actually have to rotate my neck a full 90 degrees to see the chat. Not ideal, but it's not a big deal. I've never worked so hard in my life to stream a game that probably no one will want to see, but I am kind of excited nonetheless, even though this is a really awkward stream setup. How's it going, Nabu? Basically, I currently have the TV that's connected to my PS3 stacked on top of several books, on top of a small table, which is on top of some kind of exercise device that I don't use. I don't know what it is. It's like belonged to my sister or something. Oh. Now, how long did it take to install everything? Well, I got the capture card like a week or two ago, and then I found that I couldn't use it unless I had Windows 8.1 or later. So I finally got Windows 10 set up, and now I can use it, but it also took a long time to figure out how to actually stream it, and then I had to set the microphone delay in OBS so that my mic matches the game, because there's a delay for how long it, for when it goes from the PS3 to the computer. Anyway, this is my first capture card, so yeah. And if I sound a little distant when I'm talking to chat, that's because I'm rotating my neck so far that direction that I'm probably not speaking directly to the mic anymore. Oh, exercise, oh please. Honestly, I could use this. It doesn't look like an exercise thing. I thought it was like a Christmas tree stand at first or something. Oh my gosh. I think that's good. Is Elgato a boy's name or a girl's name? Kind of sounds like it could be either, but let's see here. I'll probably want to go. Well, the most optimized class in this game is Temple Knight. It actually has the lowest useless stats, like magic, faith, and luck are all overall lowest with this class. And you start with a fucking halberd. It's just a really strong class, and you start with the heal spell. I don't know why it's not showing, it's just showing my character's face. There might be a way to change that, though. Whatever. I'll go with Temple Knight, but we gotta change the appearance a bit. This just has north, south, east, west, and they all look mostly the same, but slightly different shades. Let's see. I forget what the male hairstyles are in this game. Wow. Some of these make them look like Final Fantasy characters. First of all, the hair has to be darker. Man, also, it is a little hard for me to see them on the screen on my current room. Because the sun is just shining on it. What is that here? I can't even... Oh, that's the bowl cut of this game, but I can't even see it because my screen is so... There's so much glare. So spiked is the default. That's probably the closest to my hair in real life. Let's be real here. Go with dark brown, I guess. Gotta be a... Oh, that's actually as pale as it gets for the defaults. And then we gotta make sure that they're... Okay, we gotta focus on the chin. Definitely need a manlier chin than that. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Pretty simple. Oh, and then that's just sort of the larger jaw area. It's probably fine. I don't know what I'm doing. I got a bigger chin now, though. Upgrade PC and play Demon's Souls from emulator. I might be able to do that on my PC, but that's like more complicated than having a capture card even. I did get it running at one point, but it was at like 0 FPS, and that was before I got my new processor, so I don't know if my computer could maybe run it. But then I couldn't figure out how to get back to that point that I was at a long time ago, so I don't fucking know. It's very sunny right now in my part of the world. And that's what's making it hard. Okay, that barely looks different than the default, but I'm not going to spend much time here. We're going to just go. Foodie got 3 hours, 52 minutes, tier 3. Is that the world record, I assume? It's pretty solid.
King
Of course, he didn't have any problems with the
by channeling the power of souls,
RX Tech Mine
brought
strats.
unprecedented prosperity to his northern kingdom of Boletaria. That is, until the colorless deep fog swept across the land.
The story of this game is actually pretty cool. It's a lot more laid out
Boletaria
than
was
the Dark
cut
Souls
off from the
games.
outside world,
It's still
and
mysterious,
those who
but
dared penetrate the deep fog never
there's
returned.
reasons for a lot of things that they then adapted to the
But
Dark Souls
Valorfax
games
of the
without
royal
having
twin
reasons.
fangs broke free from the fog and
That
told the
statement
world of
doesn't make a lot of
Boletaria's
sense, but...
plight.
Oh, okay, so he did die.
That the old King Alant had aroused
see.
the Old One, the great beast below the Nexus, from its eternal slumber, and that a colorless fog had swept in, unleashing terrible demons. The demons hunt down men and claim their souls. Those who lose their souls also lose their minds. The mad attack the sane, and chaos reigns.
This is a nice
Valorfax
clip show you
spoke
got
of the
for me.
enticing power of the demon souls.
How about a nice pre-rendered cutscene?
Each time a demon claims a human soul,
This is all they had
the
money for.
demon's own soul is invigorated.
They spent all
by
their
the
budget
life
on
force,
the opening cutscene.
and the power of a mature demon's soul is beyond human imagination. The legend spread quickly.
I do like the
Mighty
picture
warriors
style,
were
though.
drawn to the accursed land,
It's got almost a retro
but none have
feeling to it.
returned. Bjor of the Twin Fangs, Yurt the Silent Chief, Sage Urbane, Skurver the Wanderer, the sixth saint Astraea and her knight Garl Vinland, and Sage Freyk the Visionary.
Oh, I missed.
The colorless deep fog slowly creeps
Pete
beyond
saying just smoke a
Boletaria's
bowl.
borders.
Well, have fun with that. I'm sure you're already halfway
Humankind
into it by this
faces a
point.
slow and steady
I'm gonna be sober just for the
extinction.
moment, but we'll see how that
The
goes.
deep fog will
I probably need to
eventually
stay sober because I'm
swallow all
thinking of
lands
cleaning some
near
stuff
and
after this,
far.
doing some chores.
But Boletaria has one final hope. A lone warrior who has braved the baneful fog. Has the land found its savior? Or have the demons found a new slave?
I guess I'll go ahead and play the Journey to the Nexus. I want this to be a sort of back to the basics playthrough, I guess. No duping glitch for one. There's a really horrendous dupe glitch in this game that kind of breaks everything, but it kind of makes it a better game at the same time if you use it sparingly.
Brave soul
I don't know.
who fears not death.
When it comes to like upgrade materials, this game is brutal.
I shall guide you.
But you can definitely manage without glitches. You just have to take a specific upgrade path.
So that you may lull the old one back to slumber.
It's finally happening! I've never worked so hard in my life to stream an old piece of crap game. It's funny how this game is only like, what, less than 10 years old, but it feels like it's from the 1990s or something. Because we're so used to later Dark Souls games. Gotta go shirtless, of course. Whoa. The one thing, if there's one thing I definitely dislike about this game compared to the others, it's that fucking camera. Because you know how every game since Dark Souls has had the auto wall recovery option? This game doesn't have that, so it's just on by default, and it can be really annoying when you're in narrow spaces. And guess what? It just so happens this game has more narrow spaces than any of the other Souls games. Spooky ghost. Oh, hi. See, I actually am running into enemies right now because I literally, like, can't see anything. There's so much glare on my TV right now. This is like Blind Souls. I played the game quite a few hours now, though, so I know my way around pretty well. Animation cancel, just like Dark Souls 3. Feels like a budget Dark Souls. Okay, you may not like the graphics, but the gameplay is fascinatingly different, in my opinion. Fascinatingly is not a word. Don't repeat what I just said. But the graphics definitely look like a PS2 era kind of game. I get that, but this was fucking early PS3. Not really. I mean, I don't know what the making of this game was about, but I get the sense that they didn't have as much money as they had for Dark Souls, which is a pretty safe assumption. Oh, nice animation cancel. These guys have the same attack patterns as Black Knights in Dark Souls 1, by the way. They literally have, like, the same... I'm just gonna be, like, pointing out all these random trivia similarities that I found between the games, because it is funny how you can draw common threads from Demon Souls. Like, there's things that are in Demon Souls that are only shared by Dark Souls 3, only shared by Dark Souls 1, only shared by Bloodborne. They just mix and match all of these games when they made them. There's even a couple things that Dark Souls 2 hails that weren't in any of the other games. What are the main differences compared to Dark Souls? I mean, Well, I was complaining about how the camera fucking adjusts itself, and that can be really annoying. And you're gonna notice that if you play the game a lot. Otherwise, it's just a little bit faster paced. It feels almost more like Dark Souls 3 than Dark Souls 1 in terms of like the rhythm of everything and how quickly the weapons go. It's probably even faster than Dark Souls 3 in some ways, but like this is a halberd, and look how quick it attacks. I mean, it's not too quick, but I would just say that the general difference is that things happen a little faster. I don't know. Heavy weapons are like actually fucking heavy weapons. This boss is kind of a pain in the dick, especially when he backs into a wall. And he practically one-shots you. Like if you get counter hit by him, like hits you mid-roll, then you'll probably die. Just going up and down. Remind you of someone? Recognize that thick booty anywhere. It's the great uncle of the Asylum demons. Although he's a little less thick than them, I guess. I would definitely consider him more difficult than the default Asylum demon, because you're kind of meant to die to him when you play the game the first time. You probably will die to him. Or Kim Kardashian, yeah, there you go. Potato brother. I picked up the gay demon soul. I mean gray. That was a real funny joke, because he said gay. Get it? It's a joke. No, I don't know. I have to use the TV speakers to actually hear the game, so if there's any echo, please let me know in the microphone. It's turned down, so I assume you guys can't hear very well if there is, but if you hear anything funny, that's probably the game echo through the mic. This is a little bonus area that you get if you beat this boss. Because if you die at any point in this tutorial, you go straight to the Nexus, you don't get to try again. This is a one-time deal. And if you survive, you get all these bonus items. It definitely takes a long time to pick up items in this game. That's what you get for surviving, by the way. That's how the game rewards you. You get fucking face punched. But I don't think you lose your souls initially. When you die in for the first time. Hold Iron King, yeah, that's true.
Soul of the lost withdrawn from its vessel.
Man, I'm trying to think of other PS3 games I could play. You know, some people make the joke about their PS4 being the Bloodborne machine, but I pretty much play nothing but Demon Souls on my PS3.
From its vessel.
And there are options, but the only one that comes to mind is like Ico. I'd like to play Ico on, or stream Ico on here at some point. Just because if you play the PS3 version of Ico, it actually has the stuff that was only in the Japanese and European version. That's a whole explanation I'm not going to get into. Anyway. Bear, seek less.
This is the Nexus. It holds together the northern land of Boletaria. Thou canst not exit the Nexus, but each of the 5 archstones will connect them to
sorry, I didn't catch that last part. I passed out. Can you repeat it? She's not gonna repeat it. PlayStation All-Stars. What's going on, EMT? You have died, and the Nexus has trapped your soul. I love that message because you never get anything like that in Dark Souls. It's always just like, you just respawn because Dark Sign. You're cursed, that's how it works. Don't question it. At least in this game, it's like there's a whole system happening where you go to the Nexus because you died, you come back with half health, you have to get your health back by getting an item that they won't give you until after you've beaten the first boss. Poopy. So you have to do the whole first section of the game with half health, and it actually kind of sucks ass. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I was gonna upgrade the weapon. Since I got those shards of Hardstone, I can get it to Halberd +1.
Do come back alive. I need your business.
It's business time. Alright, in the meantime, let's just deposit our armor that we're not using in the bank.
Wait.
Hey there, Yankee. Well, thank you. I've never worked so hard to stream a game that's this obscure. Had to upgrade my PC to Windows 10 just so I could stream a game from 2008 or whatever this was. Though it really, I needed to be upgrading my PC one way or another. It's just funny that this is what made it happen. There's the two blacksmiths. They're the same character model as far as I can tell. One of them has like some kind of skin condition. There's a lot of cutscenes at the beginning of the game. You can skip them all, of course, but this game feels the need to establish stuff more than Dark Souls did. Got a mouthful of zombies. I usually wake up with a mouthful of zombies. All the moon grass. By the way, how you doing with that moon grass over there, Pete? Did you enjoy your own moon grass? There's moongrass all over the place in Seattle, I'll tell you that. Since I got a Halberd +1, I think I can one-shot these guys reliably. The lock-on style in this game is similar to Dark Souls 1, that it only gives you some certain rolling options. So I often play unlocked in this game. But it's important to lock on sometimes. Get hit by everything. This is pretty much the best weapon we could be using for this part of the game specifically, but it won't feel so OP later. Black Widow, huh? Good step toward upgrading it, since most of the new drivers are released for it, yeah. And from what I understand, Windows 10 has improved over the years since its initial release. And it's like not deleting people's files anymore. Like, I've known a number of people who got screwed somehow when they upgraded to Windows 10 back in, like, what was it, 2015? I don't know when it was, like, first being pushed. Also, backstaboo! Backstabs are really satisfying in this game, even though they're not usually rendered properly. Like, often you'll see the backstab animation in, like, an awkward spot. But they're still really satisfying, and they actually happen a little faster than Dark Souls 1. now it's really dark. One thing I'll say about overall this game is that there's a lot more pitch, like actual darkness in this game than any of the other Souls games. The other Souls games take the whole darkness thing and they're like, well, we're just gonna have it be atmospherically dark. And then there'll only be a couple areas where you really need a light source. Whereas this game, it's like 3 out of the 5 main worlds, there's just a lot of darkness. This is one of the lightest areas, because it's daytime outside. But there's only 2 areas like that. Most areas it's fucking night the whole way through. And also there's a specific explanation in this game. This is one other thing that I like. There's a specific explanation in this game for why your character grows a little bit. I'm not sure where it is, but yeah, Auget of Souls. You have this item, a stone radiant with the light of souls. The color of the light changes according to the souls in the area. Made by some friend of Sage Frick, lore stuff, yada yada. But the point is, you have this jewel on your belt that emits light. And they kept that little light emission in Dark Souls, but they never explained it in any of the other games. They're just like, you just kind of glow, because you do. Also, now that they've changed it in Dark Souls 1, this is the only Souls game left where you actually automatically equip items when you pick them up. Alright, so this is the area where, like, this is like the pro area. You only go over there if you have the balls to fight the Red Knight, and that Red Knight is, like, so fucking hard. It literally one-shots you at this point, and he has a spear, so he's always holding his shield up. He's one of those enemies. So you basically have to parry or block him and backstab him a lot, and he's just awful. Oh, speaking of blocking enemies, you can't just attack this guy. Now, if you run over here, there's an area where you find the Cling Ring, which is a ring that lets you, even if you're in half health mode, you get like 3/4 health instead of half health. So basically it's a really, really good ring, but I'm not going to bother with it for now. Now here's the other thing. If you go down at this part, I don't know, there's 2 different paths you can take through this level. One of them gets you like the most OP ring in the whole game. I'm tempted to just not go for it. Oh, you glow when you're embered. Yeah, I guess I get that. You always have like fire spewing off of you in Dark Souls 3. So like there's this whole adventure you can do down there. It gets you the Thief Ring, which is like it's like a whole different game when you play without the Thief Ring in Demon Souls. So I kind of want to do it. Because when I first played this game, like a year ago, in fact, it was honestly about exactly a year ago. I remember it was September of last year, so I'm just gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna play without the Thief Ring. See what happens, because it becomes a huge crutch when you play with the Thief Ring. It makes it so enemies don't aggro until you're like a lot closer to them. And you can get it early on, but when I first played, I completely fucking missed it. Spin to win, baby. So I'm just gonna play like I originally did and not get the Thief Ring this playthrough. And I could really use a shield for this guy. I have one, but it's not equipped at the moment. But it's okay because I have a halberd and it's got a ton of reach. Hey there, Maria. How you doing? You ever see Labyrinth? This part always makes me think of that. I gotta fight these two bozos, which are shield guys. Ow. Oh wow, I didn't mean to do that. Alright, come on. Ow. Alright, so here's where I'm simply going to stand here. Ow. We're gonna play the bait game. Oh look, it's a dragon. I had no idea that was gonna happen. I just stood here to get a nice view. By the way, if you try to rush forward into those guys, there's like a very strong chance of you just getting murdered. Also, you do have time to grab a whole bunch of items over here, but I'm usually only brave enough to grab the one before I want to run back, because I don't know how the timing works. The dragon eventually comes back to this area and burninates you. The ring that restored mana was a godsend. Hell yeah. I mean, the ring that restores the Regenerator's ring in this game is basically my go-to, because there's a way you can kind of cheat to get it. It's not... I mean, there's a weird skip you can do in World 4 that lets you get the Regenerator's ring really early on. So I often wear that one. Okay, so that burns most of the enemies, but there's still a bunch of them left. Ow! Fucking arrows. Now, these guys are going to be chasing me if they don't get burned. So I'm just going to have to fight them all off. Accurate to the gameplay. Fragrant ring. Yeah, you get the fragrant ring in Tower of Latria. It does restore your mana. But you can also restore it with Old Spice! Which, you know, is the joke item that everyone has to reference. Old Spice deodorant. Okay. Go ahead and equip that turpentine. That's this game's charcoal pine resin. I couldn't even see the guy. I just like swung in that direction because I knew there was a guy there. Ooh, almost ran off there. Now, ideally what I would like to get from these blob enemies is they have a chance to drop a large Heartstone shard. So if any of them drop that, I'm gonna want it. The most powerful deodorant, indeed. Oh, I got a guy here. Okay, let's do this. This boss is weak to fire, so you want to use your fire stuff to make it a little easier. Barely see what I'm fighting. Now, there's kind of a theme in this game of difficult areas followed by really easy bosses. Or if it's an easy area, there's going to be a really fucking hard boss. That's pretty much just how the dynamic works in Demon Souls. The hardest area of the games have bosses that are a fucking joke. Now, I don't think it's really intentional. I think they might have just kind of run out of ideas for bosses after they finished designing World 3, and they're just like, this boss is a blob that doesn't really do anything, and you hit it. I don't know. But, let's see. Now, I could go for the Claymore. But that would mean I would need a lot of upgrade materials. Ugh. It takes so long to upgrade stuff in this game, it's kind of a joke. Okay. The way you get the Claymore in this game is interesting. Basically, also I want to say, Claymore may have been one of the best items in Dark Souls 1, but in this game it's just far and away the best weapon for a number of reasons. At least for like a default, non-glitch abusing playthrough. It's one of the best options you can have, because it's so fucking big in this game, the Claymore. Anyway, another cutscene.
The monumental awaits the above.
Oh my god, my guy looks so goofy. Well, this is like a Tomb Raider 4 flyby sequence.
The monumental will explain the nexus to thee.
The monumental will explain the plot of Dark Souls. There's no such thing! Oh, and I totally forgot I have a heal spell that I haven't been using. I could have healed any time instead of using grass, but whatevs. Healing's for chumps. Now, see, this is what I'm talking about, though. You walk through a hallway like this, and this camera just, like, jitters around. It's really awful. I really wish that there had been an option. Because the way it works is it's like it's a self-correcting camera so that you don't have to angle it yourself manually, but it's so shitty at doing that. You'd rather just have it be like the other games when you turn off auto wall recovery. Oh yeah,
am one of the
Falchion's pretty much. The thing is, the Falchion is used for speedruns because you can get basically the way it works is if you're badass enough to do World 4-1, which has the rolling skeletons that murder most new players. If you can survive the first few seconds of that level, then you could acquire a Falchion, a Crescent Falchion +1, which is essentially the equivalent of like an enchanted Falchion in Dark Souls 1. It has high magic scaling, and it's already +1. It's not just a Crescent Falchion. So
face
you have a
destruction.
really good source of magic damage, and that's basically the reason people use it for speedruns, is because you can just get the Crescent
Thankfully,
Falchion, and
we were able
on
to
top
lull
of that,
the
it's
old
actually
one
easier to
back
get
to
the
its
upgrade
slumber.
materials for Crescent
Yet only
weapons
after
than
the
it is
loss
for
of
any other
innumerable
upgrade
souls
path in the whole game,
and half
which is
the
just
world
totally fair, right?
lost.
Totally doesn't make the game
Erased
biased
by
towards
the flood.
magic users or anything.
In order to
So,
mend
like, there
the
are a
fabric
number of
of
reasons
what
for the
land
Falchion
still
being used that
remained.
way, but it also just has an
We
amazing
entrusted
moveset, but
6
in terms of, like,
with
endgame
6
weapons,
precious
the
archstones.
Killage, which I'm probably butchering the
One,
pronunciation,
king
maybe it's
of
the
a small
Kilish?
yet
Kilish?
diligent
I don't know how you
land.
say it. But the Killage is essentially a
One,
better version
the
of the
king
Falchion. It's a
of
little
the burrowers
longer.
Underground.
It's kind of like the Karthus sword in Dark Souls 3.
One, the
So there
wise
does
queen
exist a
of the
larger
great
Falchion in this
ivory
game that
tower.
you don't see in speedruns because you don't get a
One,
pre-upgraded version
the
of it, so
chieftain
nobody has
of
time
lost
to
and
bother with that.
ill-fortuned souls.
But I have actually seen speedruns done
the
with the
Shaman
Battle Axe
of the
and
tempest-worshipping Shadow
the
Men,
Dragon Bone Smasher as well.
and the
They're probably
last
not world... Well, actually, the
great
Battle Axe
giants
was the world
of the
record
northern
strats, but
lands.
that's a whole thing.
The archstones were placed at nodes
Also, I don't know what...
across
I'm
the
not sure
earth.
what the Monumental's going on about. More Demon
They
Souls stuff.
contained the old one inside this nexus and banned the soul arts.
Well, you didn't do a very good
Finally,
job of banning
they
them because
became
everyone's
monumentals.
fucking using them.
Half-living sentinels of the fabric of reality. Alas, the other monumentals have perished, and only I remain.
I love how this game uses like movie theater little,
Now it is your turn. You must lull
you know
the
how
old
like
one
there's little
back to
lines
its
in the
slumber
picture when you're watching a
and seal
movie.
it away for all eternity.
This game does that with the cutscenes
If
for
not,
some reason.
The deep fog
I don't remember
will
what you call that
absorb
effect.
all
I'm
that
drawing
we
a
know.
blank, but
Have you the strength to accept this mission?
yeah, sure.
Yes. We are fortunate indeed to have
You really don't have to sit through any of this dialogue, by the
Now,
way. You can just run
go
past
forth
her as soon
and
as you get the
destroy
cutscene.
every
You
last
can skip
demon.
all that very easily.
the old one.
Just saying.
Without
It doesn't
demons
force
to
you to
feed
sit
its
through all this
souls.
dialogue.
Will a new servant seek and lure you to its bosom?
Someone said bosom? What was that about bosom? Anyway, I'm gonna go over here. Oh god, you see what I mean? You literally like run around a corner and then the camera angles you so that you can run off cliffs that way, by the way. If you're just running straight forward, the camera can just fucking railroad you off a cliff sometimes, and it's awful. It's probably my least favorite thing about the whole game. It's got a lot of flaws that people like to complain about, but most of them don't bother me as much as just the camera movement being annoying compared to the other Dark Souls games. They really cleared that up in Dark Souls 1. Anyway, after we've done all that shit, we can finally level up. Oops. Well, I didn't mean to do that. By the way, check it out what happens if you kill her.
I'm sorry. I cannot die. Not while the Nexus binds me.
Anyway,
Brave soul.
you fucking murder her and then she
fears no
apologizes.
death.
Typical anime character.
Prithee, lull the old one back to its ancient slumber.
Sure, whatever you say. And by the way, these are the co-op items. Now you can finally co-op with people who are definitely online in this
What is it?
game that the servers don't
Dost thou
exist for
seek soul
anymore.
power?
Kingsfield 4 stream? Never played any Kingsfield games,
So
but I
be
should probably try them out.
After all, thou requirest strength. Go forth, touch the demon inside me. Let these ownerless souls become thine own.
Okay.
Soul of the mind, key to life's ether. Soul of the lost, withdrawn from
Let's
its vessel.
see here.
Let strength be granted, so the world might be mended.
Guess I'm gonna want some strength.
So the world might be mended.
Vitality is also rather important. I don't fucking know. Alright, we'll go to that vitality, and then we'll just pump strength a bit.
Art thou done? May thine strength help the world be mended.
So anyway, what to do now? Well, we do technically have the stats to wield the Crescent Falchion, so maybe I'll go ahead and grab it. It won't do much damage because I literally have like the minimum possible magic as a stat. Oh yeah, there are private servers. I do want to check those out sometime, by the way. I've heard that they work better than the official servers did. Like, there's less lag in PvP. So that could be interesting. People use it for, like, old monk stuff as well. So this is World 4. This is a world full of nastiness. What the fuck? Okay, I guess that wasn't a... Hello? Wait, no. That's not a good one. There we go. Right in the dick. Don't really know... I don't really have anything to do with Shard of Bladestone. That's for sharp weapons, but... Oh yeah, I don't have the fucking Thief Ring, so these guys are gonna aggro from a lot further away. Let's do the fast attack. It's the easiest to parry. Oh, see, that's the attack I was talking about. Of course he's not gonna do it now. Okay. I keep getting partial parries. I'm just taking damage because I'm fucking up the timing a bit. Anywho. Next person. Wow, no backstab? Fine. Whatever, you know what? Just fucking hit him. Okay. Just got this one. Another partial parry. Every time he does the fast attack, I'm not ready for it. These guys basically remind me of a cross between the skeletons from Dark Souls 1 and the Dark Wraiths from Dark Souls 1. They're almost as beefy as the Dark Wraiths. Let's just go over here and pick up a Talisman of God. I don't know, I just like saying that. This is where you get all the good dex weapons, by the way. There's an Uchi Katana here, just lying around, and there's a Killage, but I'm not going to get any of those things because it's going to be a strength build. Hi there, sir. This guy pretty much one-shots you, so you don't want to fuck around with him. Now, what's my attack rating? Only 118, so I guess I might as well try out Falchion. 157, not much better. Damage is very low because I have so little intelligence. But here we go, this is the speedrun weapon, the Crescent Falchion. It's pretty crazy. And this is the cheat I was talking about. I don't feel as bad about using this, but you can just roll over there. And then you basically skip a large swathe of the level, and you get Regenerator's Ring, which is really fucking strong in this game. It gives you, like, I don't even know how much health per second, but a lot. Okay, now getting the crystal lizard's gonna be harder. Another thing is, it's way, way harder to kill crystal lizards in this game if you don't have the thief ring. Just as a side note, the thief ring helps with so many different things. I'm just gonna keep both of them equipped. Oh, really? That makes me fat roll? Wow. Well, I'm not gonna be using the shield much. Wow. Whew. Someone say they like thick boys. It really doesn't get any better than this. This guy's so thick you can't damage him unless you're hitting him. Unless somebody stuck him with a giant sword. I don't know what that's about. That was really bad damage. That was it. Really? I was gonna kill him, motherfucker. I could probably hit him from the stairs. Okay, that didn't work. Wait, does he not know I'm here anymore? Like, where'd he go? Did he just fucking lose his track? Okay, hang on a second here. Firebomb! Wow, nice fucking throw, idiot. Okay, hang on a second. Trying to throw a firebomb at him. Thought it would be easy. Oh, I actually did hit him, but I need to hit him again now. Weirdo. In the end, you killed him with bow. Yeah, well, you can use ranged damage to your advantage. Apparently, fire bombs just go right over his head most of the time. Unless you know what you're doing, which I don't. That demon is literally swole. Drops a swollen demon soul. Just picking up a couple more items, and then I'm gonna head back. There's just so many ways that this game is, like, worse than the other games, I guess, but somehow I really enjoy it. Maybe it's just because it's fresh and I haven't played it as many hours as the others. But I really enjoy just the pacing of it, and, like, There's something about how in Dark Souls 1 I feel like you run a little slower. In this game it really feels like you're getting from point A to point B. Even though you have to run through more boring levels in this game, it's like, it feels like you run just a little faster than Dark Souls 1, and there's something satisfying about it. I don't know how to explain it. It's not really rational, I guess, but I like being able to run around faster. It's that way for Dark Souls 3 as well, you could say. Okay, just a lot of strength.
Withdrawn from its vessel.
I need to find a way to... Let's see here. I only have a couple shards of hardstone and a bunch of shards of unhelpful shit. So let's head to Stonefang. A young version of the Rotten. Yeah, Rotten Jr. Might as well call him that. He's associated with health regeneration, even though I don't think that the boss itself really regenerates his health. I don't know what that's about, but you can use the soul. Oh, that reminds me, I forgot to use the soul. It actually gives you a lot of souls. Whatever, I'll figure that out later. Oh shit! I hope I can still. Good. That would have gotten away if it was like a second later. God, it's gonna be such a pain to get. You literally like can't upgrade your weapon in this game if you don't have goddamn Thief's Ring. That's how bad it is. The Thief's Ring helps so much, so many things. So let's see. I'm gonna need just a shitload of shards of Sharpstone. So maybe I'll use the Adjudicator's thingy for that. I don't know. Figure that out at some point. In the meantime, let's use our Crescent Falchion and maybe this place is super dark. Now, I'm using the Crescent Falchion here because these enemies are super resistant to any form of physical damage other than thrust damage. But they're also really weak to magic. Which is a big reason to go for the Crescent Falchion. Just makes this whole level very different. Ow! I'm getting wrecked. Hey, you. Let's actually use my heal for once. Hello? Nice dodge. See what I mean about the narrow corridors in this game, though? They're fucking everywhere. It's definitely... there's more situations where the camera auto-wall recovery comes into play here than in any of the other games. So naturally, it's the only game where... Die of fall damage? Wow. large hardstone shard. We finally got one, but we need a lot more. This is just a sharp. Oh no, it's a clear stone. Gross. What the fuck? That guy's arm is stuck in the wall. This is the game where they got the ridiculous dead body physics that they decided to keep around for a long time. Wait, oh, son of a... I forgot to pull the lever. Now I have to run all the way back around. Speed's too high. If I had more dark moonstone, I could upgrade the Fellowship Weird. The main thing I want to do is upgrade my halberd. Let's see, I don't remember... Well, maybe... I think I might have enough hardstone to upgrade it. Just need more large shards.
I haven't seen you around these parts. What does it matter? You need a blacksmith, show me some coin. If not, head straight for the door.
I don't have any money, but if you need the souls of innocent humans, I got plenty of those. Guess that's what he means by coin. Okay, I actually do have enough. Okay, here we go. Plus 5. I need one more large shard and one more normal, and 4 more normal ones. So if I could just get a large shard, that would be great. I don't know if there's any more in this. Oh, I actually know where one specific large shard would be, so let me go grab that. I know just what to do, but I'm gonna need more souls. Just a couple of those. Ragdoll returned in Bloodborne. Hey there, Tedray. Welcome. Nice to see you. Finished the first playthrough today. Loved it. Somehow was too OP for 4.2 and 5.3. Ruined the experience a bit. Yeah? Well, that's why you go to 4.2 and all those places before any of the other areas. 5.3 really... 4.2 and 5.3, the thing about this game is that part of why I love this game is that it is designed, like, the levels themselves are super linear, but it's very possible to play, like, the later levels before... Like, there's lots of reasons, depending on what build you're doing, to just play World 4 and World 5 before any of the other worlds. So the difficulty isn't necessarily linear, although World 5 and World 4 do have a lot of miserable parts to be in at low levels. That's part of the thrill, is going to the harder areas first. That guy has poise when he's doing that attack. Nice. But congrats on finishing your first playthrough. I wouldn't say being too OP ruins it, because part of the other thing about this game is that with all the other Souls games, not all of them, but with most of the other Souls games, there's a clear sort of progression where you get crappy upgrade materials at first, and then the upgrade materials become kind of scattered throughout the game in slightly larger amounts. That's only partly true in Dark Souls 1. Like, the game's very stingy with Titanite chunks, Dark Souls 1 is. But for a lot of the other games, like, there's kind of an expectation for you to get upgrade materials that make you stronger in the later parts of the game. But in this one, pretty much every upgrade material is in Worlds 1 and 2 that you're going to need if you're doing, like, a traditional physical character. So if you just do World 1 and 2 before the other ones, you can get a lot of stuff that you wouldn't otherwise get. I don't know, it's confusing. Because you only want to do, like, parts of World 1 and 2. Oh, hi there. I don't like it, so people are just going to chase me. Part of the goal of this playthrough is I've been using Thief Ring a lot on my previous playthroughs, so I'm trying to avoid using the Thief Ring here. Wait, I'm only at +4? Right. So how is... It's like the same attack as the Crescent Falchion right now. So I'll just hold on to this for the moment, but when I get to the boss I'll probably... see that. Oh dear. These guys are fucking annoying. Made 1-4 yesterday, made 2. Okay, 1-4 is fucking miserable, I'll tell you that. 2+5 weapons, crushing Night Sword and Dragon, grinding a bit. So I assume you got the Pure Greystone from the World Tendency event, where you just don't die a certain amount of times in World 2, and then the guy gives you a Pure Greystone, or did you actually farm for it? Because I don't even know how to get a Pure Greystone without doing that. And I know that you have to... I had to farm for fucking ages to get enough chunks of Greystone to make a single crushing weapon. It was ridiculous. And you have to farm rock worms, which aren't that easy to kill unless you have a certain type of weapon. Making fully upgraded weapons in this game is no fucking joke. They expect you to go through multiple playthroughs to upgrade certain ways. Ow. Stop just YOLOing into those guys. This is gonna give me clear stone, which I don't think I want, but whatever. Clear stone and sharp stone. Farm for it, messed up. Well, yeah, you want to have your World Tendency be as dark as possible when you're farming for upgrade materials. Cookie Cutter, Spellcaster, and restart after your third boss. Caster's too easy. Well, the thing about Caster is I don't consider being a pure Spellcaster that crazy easy. Just because you have to, like, you have to kill Fool's Idol, or at least get through most of Tower of Latria before you can even get access to the good spells. And then, okay, once you get, like, the good spells like Soul Ray, it does become kind of a joke, but the thing that kills me is that Caster has access to not only the spells, but probably the best melee upgrade paths in the game are Crescent. Like, it's easier to get materials for Crescent weapons than for anything else, which I always thought was kind of weird. Considering that they already have fucking spells at their disposal. It's also the best build to use if you just want to fully upgrade a weapon and go through the fucking game. You're best off doing it with a magic build. Every other upgrade path just takes a ton of farming. Firestorm's able to one-shot almost every single boss with enough stats. Yeah, Firestorm is fairly late game in this game. And it takes 3 attunement slots, so you have to get enough stats for it. But yeah, it's quite powerful. I mean, that's arguably true of Fire Tempest or Chaos Firestorm in Dark Souls 1. You can one-shot certain bosses, but yeah, it's the spells, the higher-end spells in this game are kind of ridiculous. It's true. But there are also a lot of big downsides to boosting spell damage, like the Crisp Blade in this game is a weapon that makes you take, it's sort of like the Dust Crown in Dark Souls 1, makes you take more magic damage and deal more magic damage. But the more you upgrade it, the higher the bonuses for both ways become. Like, if you fully upgrade the Crisp Blade, which requires Colorless Demon Souls, which is a whole thing. Yeah, Colorless Demon Souls are, like, interesting. They're a little bit like the equivalent of, like, Twinkling Titanite in this game, where you can kind of get them earlier and more easily than normal upgrade materials, but you have to know exactly how, and you have to fuck around with World Tendency to do it. It's confusing. But basically, weapons that upgrade with Colorless Demon Souls are much more... you don't have to farm nearly as much to upgrade them, ironically. Like, if you want to use your Dragon Bone Smasher or your Hiltless, which is a katana, by the way. There's, of course, very strong katanas in this game, because Japan, they have to be just a little better than normal weapons. Because fucking Nihon Steel, or whatever. That's not very much damage. Try some of the soul weapons in NG+, kept most of the demon's souls to experiment. Yeah, well, I mean, you're not going to be able to upgrade most of them unless you're using the duping glitch. So you're basically going to have unupgraded weapons, but feel free, for sure. A lot of them are pretty strong. Dozer Axe is garbage, though, compared to other strength weapons. I'm just going to throw that one out there. It's for those who doze. And fucking Meat Cleaver is not very good unless you have a ludicrously high-level character. Okay. I can barely see still. So I'm not sure if the Crescent Falchion will be better or the Halberd for this fight, but all I know is this fight's going to be a pain because... oh, shit. I'm fine. I'm fine. I meant to do that. It was on purpose. This fight's going to be a pain in the ass because of not having the Thief Ring means that the boss will attack you further away. This is yet another thing that you can just wear the Thief Ring and this fight is a lot easier. It's really kind of ridiculous how good the Thief Ring is in this game. Okay, let's see here. I guess I'll wear Full Moon just in case. Oh, nice auto-host from Badass Games. Webs, and then I get hit by the webs again. You can't dodge those webs unless you roll like this. Oh god. I'm getting hit by every single web. Alright, you. Oh, that's fine. Fire's just filling up the whole screen. Wow, I got hit again. And I'm demonstrating how to mess this fight up. You just get, like, locked into this cycle of the web hitting you. there! Fuck's sake, I'm finally free. Let's see if I can... No! It's so slow. Wait, is he blowing up? Oh, he's blowing up. Of course he is. Get out of here! The explosion actually does reach all the way down the tunnel. I'm not sure exactly how far. Oh, wow. Seriously, you didn't dodge that. Oh my god, dude. You can't dodge it while you're still webbed, so you just have to roll at the exact right moment. It's lagging this console so much. Okay, there we go. That's better damage. Wow, I didn't get hit by that, but it did lift me up into the air. Am I really just gonna die from this? Christ almighty. I'm making this boss look harder than it is, by the way. I'm just gonna say that right now. Not too bad. It's pretty bad. Jesus Christ. I will do an NG+, also read some forums, self-inflicted strength fell, finishing the first playthrough. Yes, well, I have kind of a psychosis when I play these Dark Souls games, where I don't really like taking a character to New Game Plus. I usually just make tons and tons of new characters and don't finish them, because I get bored of a character once I've played on it for a certain amount of time. So, like, I'll just dupe in New Game, but on a new character, basically. That's what I've been doing. The dupe glitch in this game really... The funny thing is, you can, of course, use it to just become as high level as you want. Which is like why you want. But you can also just use it to essentially make the upgrade system closer to Dark Souls 3? Interestingly enough. You can make it more like Dark Souls 3 in the sense that, so like Dark Souls 3, you prefer swords rather than katanas, the hell? There are some really good straight swords. One thing I will say is that there's some very, very powerful straight swords in this game that don't really exist in the other games. Like the Blue Bud. That sounds like a good marijuana strain. The Blue Blood sword is like the strongest weapon in the fucking game, and it's amazing to use, because it's also really long. It's like a really long straight sword that also has some of the highest damage ever, if you have the right build for it. Okay. Got a lot of souls to pop. I don't think I'm really going to be using any of these souls, so let's just use them all up. I'm not going to use them, so let's use them. Makes perfect sense. Okay, I really need to take a break soon. We've been going for an hour and 19 minutes. Let me just use up these souls real quick. Gotta get some food in my belly. So I was saying something about how in Dark Souls 2 and 3 what you do is you can upgrade a weapon normally and then you use a single item to infuse it and give it the type of scaling you want. In Demon's Souls, you essentially have a system that's almost identical to Dark Souls 3. Like, the upgrade paths themselves very closely resemble the infusion stones in Dark Souls 3. But in order to actually fucking do that... Oh, and thanks for the auto-host, Kike. In order to actually do that in Demon's Souls, you have to collect upgrade materials for that specific upgrade path. So there's just like a ton of different types of stone in this game. You got Sucker Stone, you got Cloud Stone, you got, you name it. You got fucking I don't even know, man. There's just so many different types of stone, and you have to collect like 1,000,000 of them to actually upgrade. It's just a lot of extra tedium that the other games don't have. Yeah, that's the other thing. Quality builds in this game are really meant for higher levels. Like, you can't... If you do just a quality build right off the bat, it's going to be worse than just using the default upgrade path, which is just the hardstone and sharpstone. But that's the other thing. Even if you just want to use a normal upgrade path, hardstone and sharpstone are still a pain. It's still a pain because there's a lot of enemies and crystal lizards that have a 50-50 chance of dropping either hardstone or sharpstone. So if you're on a dex build and you just happen to get tons and tons of hardstone, you're shit out of luck. You know? It's very random that way. And that's like the most generous upgrade materials in the whole game is hardstone and sharpstone. But it's still random between them, so you don't always get what you want. Anyway, with that said, I'm going to BRB. Just hang out here. Boop. See you guys in a bit. Alright, I'm finally back. By the way, you know how I said I wasn't gonna smoke weed this stream? I lied. Anyway, I'm currently sitting on my exercise ball, which needs to have some more air in it. It's slightly deflated, but should work for now. Let's fucking go. Pardon me. Just had a few snacks. Okay, so I have +5 halberd. I'm gonna need to figure out a way to get more upgrade materials. I guess I could do world 1, 2. Kill this boss. I just decided to smoke because I fucking smoke weed while playing this game all the time, just gonna say. I'm kind of almost more used to playing this high at this point. I was wondering what was missing today when I was playing it, and I decided, yeah, no, you gotta be fucking stoned for this shit, because there's something about this game, I don't know what it is. I mean, I do that for all the Dark Souls games, but this game just feels so old. It feels so much older than it even is. Like, it could have come from the 1990s or something. Okay, what the fuck is... There's just stuff shooting me everywhere. I'm gonna kill a few of these guys, because they do have a chance to drop what I need. You got what I need. You say he's just a friend. You say he's just a friend. Anyway, God, I can't see a thing, because there's still a beam of light shining through my window right on the screen. Which I could probably fix, but I'm too damn incompetent. And honestly, even without considering that, this game is just a lot darker than most Dark Souls games. Ironically enough, when it doesn't even have dark in the title. Well, hello there. Well, the game lags a lot when dragons are flying by. Ooh, you know, another thing I was kind of curious to do, and this would maybe be a waste of money, but maybe not for my purposes, but one thing I could do with the PlayStation 3 at my disposal is, that's one of the best ways to play Dark Souls 1 and 2 unpatched. If you have an offline PlayStation, you just buy Dark Souls 1 or Dark Souls 2. You can play day 1 Souls patches, and maybe it could be an interesting experience to see. Might be really unstable or shitty or whatever, but especially for Dark Souls 1, I've heard there's a lot of interesting differences for the earlier versions of the game. Like enemies aggroing a lot more, or sense for just more precise tracking. Various difficulty things. And then, of course, in Dark Souls 2, they patched, like, every boss to be easier. Seems your reaction is increasing. Maybe a little. I relax a bit more, I guess. Day 1 DS1, the Lightning Zwei meta? Yeah, that's for sure. I remember Blighttown. Well, I don't think they added a patch that made Blighttown not lag as much. It always was laggy as fuck on PS3. But, oh shit, it's out of the way? Okay, I thought I was gonna be hit by that, but I did not. Do-do-do-do-do. Grab the stone. Those are basically like, ow. Oh, fuck me. Now I'm gonna get hit by the fire. Maybe. Ugh. I do actually find, now this you're gonna have to take my word for it, but I have found in this game that there have been times when I just get killed by a boss repeatedly and I'm fucking raging, then I smoke a bunch of weed and I kill the boss. I don't know what it is. It's just like calming down. This game has a lot of like situations where it's not really that hard, you just need to chill. Not as true in Dark Souls 3, where the game is just like throwing shit at you the entire boss fight. DS Fix PC version. Well, yeah. That's basically Dark Souls Remastered 2 years before Dark Souls Remastered was a thing, or more than 2 years. I don't know when they added the 60 FPS mod. Okay, that's a good drop. I don't know when they added that functionality to DS Fix, but it was certainly years before Dark Souls Remastered was even a thing, and somehow Dark Souls Remastered wasn't like any different than DS Fix style, which I always thought was really disappointing. And I personally would be okay with them trying to do a PS4 remake of Demon's Souls, but I just don't see it happening because this game doesn't have nearly enough of a following for that. Like, unless someone can convince Sony that it's worth their while to bring back Demon's Souls in a big way, I don't know. I'd love to see it happen, because I think that you could make a lot of little improvements to this game that would make it even better, and without having to like make it more like the other Dark Souls games, which I fear they would probably do. There's things you could do with this game that would kind of sort of branch out. 900 players on Steam, it's totally dead. Well, how does that compare to the number of people playing Prepare to Die Edition? I'm curious, is it more dead than Prepare to Die Edition? Because, I mean, that was pretty dead, from what I recall. That is sad, though, 900 players. There's, like, no difference. It doesn't feel like a PS4 game. That's, like, the problem to me. It doesn't feel like a game of this generation, which is kind of also true of Scholar of the First Sin, but when they made Scholar of the First Sin, they distracted players with all the random gameplay changes. We're just gonna fuck around with everything, because they knew that was like the only way to keep people interested in a game that looks old as shit. Now I'm doing this the lazy way, I'm not killing. Now he's against a wall. This fight is actually, you might recognize the sort of design of this fight from One Reborn, Bloodborne. It's kind of the same structure. Like a guy in the middle, and he fucking hits you with giant AoE attacks. There we go. Get wrecked. It's a cross between One Reborn and Iron Golem, which is a match you never would have thought you'd heard of if you'd only played these games. Most people are back to DS3. Well, that makes sense too. I've been playing some some DS3 on PS4 a lot because I can still play it on PC, but my PC just runs it so crappily that it's always sad to me. They have to run it on like lowish settings, and then it's, especially when I stream it, it just gets a lot more laggy. Now you can't actually proceed any further from here unless you've killed an archdemon. Yes, only those who have slain an archdemon may pass beyond this point. And an archdemon essentially just refers to the end boss of any given world. So once you beat any of the end of the world bosses, you can go and fight the final boss of this game. You can actually fight him out of order. You can kill, well, people unofficially consider the boss of World 1 to be the final boss because he is the hardest boss in the game in a lot of ways. And he certainly has the most epic like area that you have to get through to get to him. But you can still fight him before a lot of other bosses if you do it a certain way. Anyway, let's just go to another world. How about Tower of Latria? But before we do that, oh god, I forgot. If I want to upgrade this shit, I'm gonna have to go around killing crystal lizards. at least a little bit, which is going to be a lot harder than it would be if I had a Thief Ring, but let's just start by going back to Tower Knight. Killed the false thing on second try. Yeah, I get you there. I mean, when I first played, I wish I'd uploaded this, I never bothered, but when I first played Bloodborne, I beat most of the boss. I think I beat every boss in the game within 4 tries. Except for fucking Michael Ash, who's like one of the easiest bosses in some ways. He just absolutely trashed me the first time I was playing. He just killed me again and again and again. I racked up 11 deaths that day to Michael Ash. Whereas every other boss, no other boss gave me nearly the same kind of trouble that Michael Ash did. And it was for such a frustrating, tilting reason. It was like, I would get him down to the very end of the fight, and then he would just one-shot me with a magic attack. Which you can only really avoid by just staying close to him and praying. I don't know. Fucking Michael Ash, man. So I forget, you just had a bad day. I mean, I don't think that I was doing anything particularly horrible to get killed by him that much. I just feel like I didn't understand. It was one of those little idiosyncrasies where I didn't understand. I don't know. Like, even when I fight him now, it's just like a big danger when you fight that NPC. If you stand a certain distance from him, he'll use a magic attack that will just kill you. Like, you have a slight chance of dodging it, but it's absolutely insane. The only thing DSR accomplished is splitting in half already small community of DS1. Yeah, well, it wouldn't have been so bad if it had been an actual fucking remake that looks like a remake. Like, when I think remastered, I think Shadow of the Colossus remastered. That shit looks totally... like, you could see the difference. For one thing, Shadow of the Colossus was 2 generations of gaming back. So obviously they had more reason to remaster that game than Dark Souls 1, but... like, there's so many things you could do to make Dark Souls 1 look more modern, and they just didn't do that at all. They pretty much kept it the way it was exactly. But 60 FPS, like, who gives a shit? And with a higher, and they made minor changes to the matchmaking. I don't know. It was just kind of like, just play Dark Souls 1 with DS fix. Last 5 bosses in Vanilla Bloodborne, 3 deaths. Gerhard and Great One. Okay, I don't remember who Gerhard and Great One are, but yeah, impressive. I definitely had quite a few, like at least 2 deaths to the final boss of Bloodborne, the guy who you can choose to not fight. Of course you're gonna fight him, and what the hell are you if you don't fight the final boss? Anyway, what was I doing? I was getting upgrade shit. I mean, this is where you go for upgrades. You go to World 2-2 and try to kill as many crystal lizards as you can. It's like a fucking mini-game, but it's awful. It might be the worst thing about this game, besides the camera, is the way you get the upgrade materials. Gerham character. I feel like you're saying graham crackers. But yeah, I get you. They just gave it to a third party, stopped Steam sales for 2 years. Ugh. I don't like also that you can't get vanilla Dark Souls 1 on Steam anymore. You just, if you want to play with someone who's playing vanilla Dark Souls 1, if you want to play the same game they're playing, they're just gonna have to buy Dark Souls Remastered because you simply can't have Dark Souls 1. Unless you own a Xbox 360 or PS3 like me. But then it's going to be like an old shitty version of Dark Souls 1 that has an even smaller player base, maybe. Since it's on the older console. But, I mean, the servers are still there. I'm sure there's still a couple people who play. Ugh. Sharpstone. There's at least a couple people who still play it. I'd be curious to see what the PS3 Dark Souls 1 community is like. Normally I am in front of my PC, but my water pump died, so on the iPad now. Oh my. Wait, so did that happen just now, or are you saying you've been on the iPad to watch this stream? Oh, nice. Get destroyed. Ugh. It's gonna be so hard to get all these crystal lizards. Also, the way... It's really complicated to explain, but crystal lizards work very differently in Demon's Souls than in any of the Dark Souls games. I actually kind of like the way they're set up. I don't like how hard they are to catch, but hey, at least it's not as infuriating as Dark Souls 2. The way it works... Oh, nice. Chunk of Heartstone. That's good. Is that they're tied kind of to the number of times you've killed a boss in your world. So, like, when you're in like a world 1-1 and you haven't killed any bosses left, you see a crystal lizard. If that crystal lizard gets away, it's not respawning. It's gone. However, for every boss you kill in that world, it respawns one more time. So, if you don't miss the crystal lizard and you kill all however many bosses, 3 bosses, then you get to kill the lizard 3 more times and get more upgrade materials. And basically that's how you have to get upgrade materials in this game if you want to do certain upgrade paths. Is you have to just keep killing the lizards and not letting them get away. But you're going to find out very quickly that it's like impossible to get all the lizards unless you have certain spells. Okay, just going to kill this happily married couple of club phantoms. Just chilling. This isn't a World Tendency event either, they just show up. There's a lot of random red phantom enemies in this game that have nothing to do with World Tendency. And then there's the World Tendency ones that are usually scarier. Alright, I got you. How am I doing on... There's also an item burden stat in this game, so you can get to a point where you can't carry any more items until you deposit them in the bank. But it's not that big of a problem because you got a bank guy. Leave this shitpost vid. Oh no. Goodbye, Dark Souls. Yeah, I'll probably check that video out in not too long. Whoa, whoa, whoa! My computer's freaking out as usual. I am happy that my computer is able to operate a capture card without shitting bricks. I was genuinely kind of worried that it might, like, start lagging or something once I started trying to stream through the Elgato thing. Well, I'm using OBS to stream while capturing Elgato. I don't know how Elgato streaming works exactly, but worst case, there's a loot trick. Don't click the loot box away and restart the game just for the really rare stuff. Wait, what? Some upgrades that if you missed lizards, you are done. Right, right. Yeah, that's the thing, is, for example, like, if you're doing a faith path and you want a blessed weapon, there's only, like, 1 crystal lizard in the whole game. Well, actually, that's a bad example, because you can get a pure faint stone a different way, but there's a lot of places where, like, there's only 1 place in the game where you can get a random drop for a pure stone to fully upgrade your weapon, and you have a chance to just not get it at all. Or if you miss the lizards, you won't get it. It's really very tricky. You have to go out of your way in this game to actually do an upgrade path, and you probably need to use a wiki to figure out how it all works, too. Just trying to figure this out by yourself. Also, check this place out. This is the biggest troll. Not that one. I can at least get 2 lizards, hopefully. If I do this exactly right. I actually have one of the best weapons in the game for killing lizards, at least in terms of having a downward hitbox. But yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna get these lizards. There's gotta be like a melee strategy where you could kill like 4 lizards tops. That's not that many. What am I on? Elgato. Got Simony and Tricks. Tricks are for kids, you know. Yeah, I really do want to check out the private servers. I haven't gotten around to trying that yet. I assume it's a whole process to set up. It's not that hard. I don't know. Okay. So I'll settle for 2 lizards, because at least it's better than 1. And Sharpstone. You see what I mean? You'd have a random chance of just getting Sharpstone, which is completely unhelpful to my current build. Also, isn't it kind of neat that you can just load characters straight from your game? Why the fuck didn't they put that in any of the other games? It's like a step backwards in Dark Souls 1, that you have to quit to the main menu before you can load a character. It's an extra loading screen. It's a big deal. Oh, they're all gone now because I just quit out twice and I've only killed 1 boss. They would respawn more times if I'd killed more bosses. That's how it is. I can still get a few. Was that another large Sharpstone drop? God damn. I think I at least have enough large hardstones for +6 though, which is good. But I need a lot more if I want to go any further than that. Tricks are for kids. You just need to set DNS servers manually? Huh. A lava bow with white arrows to get the lizards. Is that like super high damage? I've never used the lava bow before. I've used a bunch of other different types of bows. So can you do that, like if you wear the thief ring, I assume the lizards might not notice you right away and then you can just pick them off in this room? Or does that only apply to like other types of lizards? Okay, let's see if we can at least get the other 2 lizards up here. Over this way. Okay. And by the way, if you don't have a weapon that has really good range like the halberd, or at least has some kind of downward chopping motion, it's gonna be a massive pain in the ass to kill these lizards. Especially when they're running away from you at the speed of light. Okay, I think there's more lizards up here. God. It's a whole quest to get the lizards. It takes like an hour of your time. I'm making a real effort to get these upgrade materials without being a filthy creature. Because you can just get infinite of everything in this game very easily. Thief is mandatory, yeah. The best for strength builds, really. But like, well, you need some dex to wield the bows, but normal bows do scale with strength. Just the simple compound long bow. You just have a pure strength build and you have enough dex to wield it. It does pretty decent damage. Physical damage, that is. But I assume it's not as good as, like, the lava bow. I don't know. Oh god. Please don't run off. Another thing, like Dark Souls 2, if lizards run off a cliff in this game, you don't get the stuff. You have to actually kill them. Because you have to pick it up from their corpse. It's kind of like Bloodborne, actually. Bloodborne has a lot of commonalities to this game when it comes to random little mechanics. I really like the loading screens in this game. I gotta say, I like looking at them more than the loading screens in Dark Souls. But maybe that's just being a fanboy, I don't know. Man, I'm getting a lot of chunks of hardstone. That's very lucky, actually. You don't always get that many chunks. By the way, that's the enemy you have to farm hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of if you want to get a crushing weapon. It's fucking ridiculous. Alright, Sharpstone. Oh, that's useful. Now this is going to be just more strength weapon stuff. Shard of Greystone. But I'm not going to bother with that for now, because there's no way I'm going to be able to fully upgrade a Greystone without just farming my butt off. I don't really feel like doing that risky. So, let's go do the patches thing. Oh, look who it is.
Oh, you're not mad like the rest, are you? Well, what jolly travelling companions are we? Pleased to meet you. Call me Patches. Oh, see that treasure over there? Go on and take it. My gift to you, just to show that we're friends. Phew! I'm glad to meet you. These soul-starved imbeciles will drive you mad.
Lava Bow does knockback. Damn. Okay, yeah, I've never used the Lava Bow, so it probably is one of the better weapons. I feel like Patches was more on his game in the later games when it comes to tricking you. Because this is like the most obvious trap you could possibly see. There's a giant fucking bug sitting right there.
If you survive, that is. Good luck to you.
And also, look how easy it is. The item he was talking about was a club. Look how easy it is to fucking leave. He didn't notice that there were some boxes to walk out. Like, come on, Patches. Really now. That's just silly.
You.
Try to trick a guy.
How did you do that?
And then he can just walk out.
Worry not. The treasure is all yours. Tough luck with the bear bugs, but you certainly showed them, didn't you? Here it is. The treasure. Safe and sound. Go on. Take it. Take it.
Yeah, sure. Ring of Flame Resist. Yeah, that might not be too bad. Maybe I could use that for Flame Lurker. I think what's over here? I think this is just a dead end. Nice. Drop down here. There's another lizard somewhere, and there's actually an NPC here who sells large shards. So I'm gonna maybe try to pick that up. This is just a Sharpstone. Yeah, damn it. I knew there was something up here, but it's not something I need for this build. Okay, let's see. It's just more Greystone, more worms. Oh, that's Dragonstone. That's for fire weapons. Okay, let's get that lizard. You cannot escape. More large hardstone. Nice. And here you are.
Hello there.
Be swarming with bees.
Souls. I trade fine goods for souls.
Like, could you be in a more awkward position? Look at all these fucking bees that attack you while you're trying to just buy this guy's wares. Fortunately, I have a pretty good weapon for hitting bees. Ugh, I don't want to fall off. Demon Souls doesn't give a fuck about forcing you to just use ranged weapons sometimes. Oh, God. Like, this is outside the melee range of most things. This is a halberd, so, yeah. One very good weapon, I will say. It's not the highest for damage, unlike the Dark Souls games, but it's got just a very versatile moveset for hitting things in this game. And it feels nice and fast, unlike any other halberds in the games. By the way, I am kind of inadvertently farming Dragonstone, which I'm not really going to be using. And it's actually quite heavy. It weighs you down a lot. In fact, fuck all that Dragonstone nonsense. Okay, so, for fuck's sake. Do they keep respawning? Because I don't think I've ever really bothered killing all these guys. Okay. God damn. We're buying large hardstone shards. As many as we can. Tower Knight. And we won't need that. I don't know how many I'm gonna need, but I kind of just want to get as many as possible. I don't know. Alright, whatever. Let's get out of here. I have to physically walk back. Oh, unless... Actually, I have another idea. New plan. I'm simply going to buy one more shard. Then buy whatever I can afford, just one of these. And then I can just use the Nexal Binding. Which is like the Dark Sign from Dark Souls. It forfeits your souls. They took the same voice actor for patches in every game. They sure fucking did, except they didn't have him in Dark Souls 2. Instead they had Darth fucking Maul. The guy who played Darth Maul is in Dark Souls 2 as Pate the Wanderer, which is essentially the patch's equivalent in that game. No, it's Mild-Mannered Pate. I actually liked Mild-Mannered Pate. I thought the Darth Maul guy did a good job. He's been in more things than Star Wars, but I'm going to call him the Darth Maul guy because I don't remember his name. He's a pretty interesting guy. Anyway, random trivia aside, I have no souls now. I'm going to get more souls. Because, like, I just realized I have the upgrade materials to upgrade my ship, and now I have no souls to upgrade it with. Gotta get me some more souls. Just kill some random shit in this world. I don't know. Oh yeah, and another thing that's consistent in all of the Souls games is that Patches is always a really useful shopkeeper if you keep him alive and don't just kill him out of annoyance. He always sells really useful items in all of the games, including this one. He's the only way you can get a good source of a Shard of Archstone, which is this game's equivalent of a Homeward Bone, but it's really expensive. It's like 5,000 souls a pop. This game doesn't just hand out Homeward Bones. Anyway, welcome to Bloodborne. According to Miyazaki himself, this is the level that kind of inspired them to make Bloodborne. And I can kind of see it. It's a very gothic level. Looks like look, you just got like a witch's brew lying around. Nice Halloween decorations, I gotta say. Got these Cthulhu-looking motherfuckers. Oh wait, it's not this way. And you got maybe the most disorienting level I've ever played in like any game. God, I can't even express to you how lost I got in this level my first time through. Everything just looks the goddamn same. You have to figure it out. Oh, and also, since you have the auto wall recovery, sometimes the camera causes you to just run off the edge. This is so AD&D. Fucking brain suckers. The knight's backtracking from 1 2. Huh? I guess that would be good for farming stuff. I got a few more souls. A few more souls. A fuse. That's a word. A fuse.
Please, help me.
You can hear a guy yelling for help, but you have no idea where he is, because he's, I think, below you? On some other floor of the prison. I want to say this level has the most god-awful game design ever. But it is pretty atmospheric, I'll give it that. It mostly just feels awful because of the way the camera jitters around, because you're always in narrow spaces. And again, if the camera didn't do that, I would be so happy. If someone found a way to hack this game... I think I actually unironically asked about this on GameFAQs, and my fucking... my post became immediately archived because people were like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was asking if anyone had even considered trying to hack a version of Demon's Souls that has an option to turn off camera wall recovery, or just turn the fucking thing off. Do whatever they did to Dark Souls 1 that made the camera better. And I would be so happy with that in Demon's Souls. But maybe it wouldn't be good, because maybe you'd just be able to see through walls all the time or something, if that was in this game. But I liked it. Pretty challenging to memorize it. Well, that's for sure. You gotta memorize the shit out of it. Isn't this level with the Gatling Ballista? It sure is. Okay, what are we doing here? Are you serious? I don't have enough... Okay, that means I just need to go to, 2-1. But I'm still not gonna have enough. I still am gonna need more fucking souls. Great. Once you get to the Gatling Ballista is where things are starting to get, like, less confusing level design-wise, but you also have to do a marathon run. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, no, 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 no! Huzzah! And it dropped it dropped Heart of Stone, which is good. Which is just what I need, but I'm still not gonna have enough to get +7, damn it. I just need to buy more Heartstones. I don't know how many more, though.
If it be a blacksmith, then show me some coin. I'm busy. Forging a weapon strengthens it.
If you're talking to this guy, it's actually good.
The soul of a demon is an inferno of wrath.
He sounds like Scrooge McDuck.
The soul of a demon.
But that's just me being like a fucking racist who considers anyone with a Scottish accent to be Scrooge McDuck. And I forgot to actually do the thing. Is that even a... Like, I don't know if it's... He doesn't really have the same kind of sounds as a Scottish person. Maybe it's more of an Irish accent. Okay. I'll do 6, and then I have... Oh, it only takes 6 shards. Good stuff. I can actually get higher than that. Oh, I have enough for +9 if I just had enough souls. God damn it. Again with the soul stuff. Did I ever get this item? Oh, I did. Okay, that's very helpful, because that means they purposefully leave that there. 1,000 more souls and I can buy the others. This is going surprisingly well in terms of chunks of Hearthstone. Usually, if you want chunks reliably, you have to just sit there and farm enemies at some point, because it's not very common to get that many chunks just from lizards. But I've gotten pretty lucky in that regard. This playthrough. Okay, I needed 5 more, I think. So let's see. fucking halberd plus 9. 3 more chunks. Good for. I actually have too many hardstones. I don't even need the amount of large hardstones I have. So that was kind of stupid, but what else? Do no transformation pure plus 10? Super. You really have been super creative. So many ideas made it to future games. Very raw and unpolished, and the engine is horrible, but still unbelievable how many ideas they had. They had a lot of ideas, alright. It does make me curious to see what their earlier games are like. Was it the Gundam games? No, not Gundam. It was... Or maybe it was. I don't know what it was. There was another series of games that From Software was known for, besides Kingsfield. Something like robots related. But, yeah, serious damage for your level. Armored Core, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm curious if there's any carryovers between Armored Core and Demon Souls. Although I don't know what types there would be, but... Alright, I need to switch to my chair. The creaky wooden chair that you're gonna hear. Just give me a second. Ah, yes. The music of a wooden chair is unlike any other. Now let me just take a moment to retoke. And I'm good. Okay. What am I doing? I'm instinctually picking up my earphones, even though I'm not supposed to be using those. Those go to my computer. Not as creaky. Okay, Yankee has a very creaky chair as well. I will say that much. Okay. Fucking plus 9 halberd, baby. 247 attack rating. Not too shabby. So, where am I gonna go? I guess we should do Tower of Latria. Let's just go ahead to World 3. Real wood. Yes. It's not the most comfortable chair, but I have to pad it with pillows to make it a little better. Prison of Hope. This game has a lot of things like that, where they just decided to name it whatever the fuck they wanted. I do think that this game gave fewer fucks than Dark Souls did, like when it came to coming up with certain ideas. That's a really vague statement to make that doesn't really mean anything, but you know what? I'm fucking stoned now, so that's just how it's gonna be. But, like... I'm just a Demon Souls fanboy at this point. I'm a later converted fanboy because I didn't get the game until I got a PS3, which was last year, but I don't know. I always heard people rave about this game and being kind of written off because this game's really crappy in a lot of ways, and it is crappy, but there's just so much to enjoy about it. Okay, what are you even doing, mister? Get back stuff. It's really not... This is a game where, like... The fandom built around Dark Souls has a lot to do with people being like, but really, it's such a work of art, it's genius, you have to try it, because it's Dark Souls, it's the greatest game, there's no game like it. There's really a lot of people just glorifying it as the best fucking shit ever, because it is a remarkable game, and it's very widespread for how, like, kind of unforgiving it is, I guess. But this is a game that's more like, you either like it or you don't. Like, you can't necessarily defend it as this amazing game. I just like it a lot because I have kind of a thing for games that don't try to be as realistic and just kind of look retro sometimes. The worst of the series, well, I wouldn't go so far as to say that. It's definitely my favorite game of the series. If I had to choose one that I think is the best game overall, definitely Dark Souls 1. Even if it has a lot of issues, I think it's the best game. But you know, on the other hand, I really appreciate all the things that the later games did to kind of streamline things. Dark Souls 2 was the first one to not have a completely awful weapon upgrade system that actually kind of gave the player a chance to upgrade their weapon fully if they were just playing through the game normally. Whereas Dark Souls 1 and Demon Souls kind of split the difficulty based on whether you randomly find upgrade shit, you know? Like, that goes for both of these games, because in Dark Souls 1, like, there was a strong chance, if you played the game in a certain order, that you would just plus 10 would be the highest weapon upgrade you would get in Dark Souls 1. There would be a strong chance that that could happen if you just didn't happen to wander into fucking spooky ghost town. Then you don't get plus 15, and that makes a very big difference to the difficulty, honestly. Just based on something that's kind of arbitrary. So I always disliked that, but it still made it kind of interesting in a way. I don't know. I won't say that I think that this game is better made than Dark Souls 1, but I do really like it. I don't know. Better multiplayer. Well, that's pretty well agreed upon now. It's really funny that people say that now, because I remember when Dark Souls 2 first came out. This isn't necessarily the consensus opinion, but I saw like a comment on a video about first impressions for Dark Souls 2 when it was first out, and when PvP was a lot less balanced, because people were just like one-shotting each other with spells, and there were like weird combos like Master Helix. There was a lot of crazy broken shit in Dark Souls 2, and really, I think Dark Souls 2 just got the heaviest round of balance patches. Like, the developers for that game, for whatever reason, actually gave a fuck about, like, player complaints, more so than most of the other developers. Dark Souls 1 did a lot, all of them made patches based on input from players and things that became the PvP meta and all that. But I think Dark Souls 2 made the most extensive ones, going over the longest period of time, because they would just like release a patch every month or so. Dark Souls 3 kind of did that too, but it didn't have as long of a period. Okay, not a very good Souls game. Second half just sucks. You mean first half is great in the sense that it's like non-linear? Because Dark Souls 2 is the most non-linear of the games. Just overall. But Dark Souls 1 is non-linear in a way that's a lot more interesting than that. I don't know. There's a lot of little I know I'm just standing here because I'm too fucking scared. This thing's actually hard to dodge. And there's a way to get around it where you just have to run, and I probably would already be there by now if I wasn't fucking talking. Okay, 3, 2, 1, we're doing this. You have to, like, kind of roll preemptively. Fuck! That was close. If you get hit once, you're done. You will actually die. Okay. DS1 is incomplete, they run out of money. Isn't that true of all of the games? I mean, I think it's probably most noticeable in DS1, but I think all of them definitely had areas that would have been developed more if they had more time. That's definitely true of Dark Souls 2. Like, I would argue Dark Souls 2 is at least as incomplete as DS1. They just didn't, like, talk about it the way it was incomplete as much. DS1, everyone points to Lost Izalith, and it's like, look how incomplete this is! It's shit! But I kind of like Lost Izalith, unironically. I actually like the design of it, even though it's really stupid. And okay, I'm just basically defending a lot of things that don't make a lot of sense, but that there is a logic in my brain that I don't know. I'm not trying to sound like some kind of weird apologist for bad game design, but that's how it's coming across, I guess. I like the things that were shitty about Dark Souls 1 and Demon Souls. And then I'm meh about the things that are considered good. I'll give another... completed the run I started 2 months ago. Well, yeah, I don't know. Like, it just depends on what you enjoy the most about the games, what you're gonna like about DS1 versus Demon's Souls. It's perfectly reasonable to not like DS1 as much for various reasons. I just think DS1 is kind of the most brilliant in terms of just like the eloquence of how many different ways you can experience to play through, and the way the different routes shape your experience of the opening of the game. That's a really weird, vague way to put it, but I don't know. It's non-linear while also being linear, which is so fucking weird. I don't know how to describe it. It's not so much that I think Dark Souls 1 is just way better than the others. I just think it's probably the most unique game in terms of level world layout. Like, it's the most original in that regard, I think. And that makes a big difference for me. I don't know. The other ones streamlined the layout a bit, where it's like every area is kind of self-contained. Whereas, I don't know, I feel like DS1 is the most immersive in a way. But that's partly because it's the only one where you don't have to warp back to some hub area and level up at a stupid fucking NPC who talks to you. Like, come on. I wish Dark Souls 3 had not done that, because... Okay, well that's your game order. That's perfectly reasonable, honestly. When it comes to the people who've played all the games, you just never know what you're going to get, depending on who you talk to. I guess DS2 is probably universally the most disliked, but... BB is not far off. Okay, Bloodborne level design is also really amazing. I have to agree with you there. Bloodborne might be the most polished of the games in some ways. It feels the most polished. I don't know. There's a lot to talk about with Bloodborne if I'm gonna get into the nitty-gritty details like I do with these games. By the way, I'm a fucking idiot. This is branching off into a different topic that's more relevant to what's happening right now. But I did not realize how this boss fight worked until very, very recently. Like, I played this game... I want to say like 100 or so hours over the last... probably closer to 200 hours over the last year or so. I've done like a lot of different playthroughs and stuff, and I did not understand how to fight this boss properly for so long. It's kind of embarrassing, but like I literally... And the way I found out about it was so ridiculous. I literally watched Jerma streaming, because I love Jerma. Jerma's like... one of my favorite YouTubers. I watched Jerma's playthrough and saw him immediately figure out how this boss fight works. And it's just such an intuitive thing that like you have to be an idiot not to notice. Somehow I didn't even think about it. All it is I'll explain it to you when I'm fighting. Quick. It's not the resurrect thing, because you can't beat the boss without the resurrect thing, but it's a different thing. So this fight plays out a little bit like Pinwheel from Dark Souls 1, but it's kind of harder because you have these fucking pentagrams on the floor that freeze you in place if you step on it. You can see them for a second and then they're invisible, and then you don't know where the fuck they are. They startle the shit out of you. Meanwhile, every single enemy is firing... well, every version of the boss is firing beams at you. But the thing that I didn't fucking know about was that the beam coming from the one who's the real boss looks different from the others. The one who has like a big electric beam, like that one's just a little soul arrow. Basically the beam looks different, and I didn't notice that until very recently. And it helps so much with understanding how this fight works, because otherwise I would just wander around, fight random enemies. It's essentially just like the Crystal Sage in Dark Souls 2. The Crystal Sage, the one that's real, is the one shooting purple lasers at you, and all the blue laser ones are the fakes. It's basically just like that, and guess what? That was another thing that I didn't know for like my first 300 hours of playing that game. There's a lot of things where I just skim over them and my brain doesn't detect them, and then I play the game a million more times using my flawed method and just don't even think about it. I don't know. One-track mind sometimes. Okay, so we're talking about, what's wrong with BB? You have to play long to get some specific buttons. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about the sort of lower amount of builds in Bloodborne. On the one hand, it's kind of nice because then you don't... I don't know. They get to make each of the weapons very unique. You don't have, like, a short sword that's like, hey, it's the same as every straight sword in the game, but worse. You don't have really anything like that in Bloodborne. With a few exceptions, I guess, like the Saw Cleaver and the Saw Spear are very similar. But there's a little bit more variety to the weapons overall in Bloodborne because of how few there are. Dark Souls 3 tried to make there be actual variety with the weapon arts and stuff. But I do like the variety, but I do know what you're saying about how the builds feel more limited because there's just a lot fewer stats to work with in Bloodborne. But I don't know. I feel like that's not a bad thing for everyone. It just depends on whether how much you really get out of wanting to mix up all the different stats in the Dark Souls games. Okay. When you lock on, you see an extra health bar for the clones. Ah, is that also true in Demon Souls then? That's what you mean then? So you can just lock onto them. Well, that makes sense. I think I could have figured that out, but usually you might not be locking on. But the easiest, most reliable way to tell which one is the one that's shooting the laser. And I just didn't even think about that for so long until I saw a guy who'd never played the game before just look at it and be like, okay, so that's the real one, because it's shooting those big lasers instead of the little lasers. It was just a funny little detail. I don't know. Anywho, I was talking a lot through that Tower of Latria playthrough. For the last boss. What's this now? Which last boss? Okay, I don't think I'm gonna be needing Dull Demon Soul, so let's just pop that. And my guy is fucking... He's doing the knee jerking thing. I do knee jerking sometimes. A lot of people with ADD do knee jerking. Okay, it sounds weird when you just say jerking, but you know what I'm talking about? Knee jiggling, where you just sit down and you jiggle your knee. That's what my character's doing right now, except while standing on stairs. It's totally normal. I'm doing it in real life now, just to demonstrate. Anyway, enough jerking around.
Soul of the mind, key to life's ether.
More strength, and we're done here. I was saying at one point that one thing that I think is a step backwards in every game other than Dark Souls 1 is I'm still a little miffed that none of the other games chose to have actual checkpoints where you can level up at bonfires or whatever. I still think that that's an objectively better system than having to warp back to a specific hub area, talk to an NPC, and level up. Like, I get why Demon Souls did it, because in Demon Souls, the whole game revolves around the Nexus, and, you know, you have the Nexal binding. Everything takes you straight back to the Nexus. There's no... I mean, it's like Bloodborne. There's no... You can't sit at a bonfire. But to have Dark Souls 2 and 3 both have the bonfires and just not let you level up at them, I still think was a mistake. I just wanted to be able to level up without having to warp somewhere. It kills the immersion in a way for me when you have to be warping all over the place all the time. I understand having warping available at some point. Like, in fact, I'm fine with the idea of being able to warp from the beginning of the game like they do in Dark Souls 2 and 3. I just still think you should be able to fucking level up at a bonfire. Like, is that really so crazy? I don't see the need for there to be a female NPC who talks to you, and I don't know. Maybe it's because the NPCs in that game also take longer to talk to. Like, Dark Souls 2 especially, you have bear, seek, seek, less. You have to get through 4 whole lines of dialogue. And this one, it's just 2 lines of dialogue, and then she does a chant while you're leveling up that sounds kind of cool, you know? Like, it's almost a more streamlined method. I'm making comments about the weirdest things because I'm stoned off my ass. Let's just play the goddamn game, shall we? Where do we go next? Well, I feel like going to Blighttown. Because I want to suffer. god. Oh my god, this place is awful. This is the daddy of Upper Blighttown from Dark Souls 1. I guess it's not worse than Upper Blighttown, but it's about that bad. The big enemies in this place are so awful. Still can one-shot these guys, that's pretty nice. Yeah. Now, this is a place where the path actually branches rather a lot. Your intuition is generally to go that way across the bridge, but that takes a lot longer than taking this sneaky little route, where you end up dropping down. Although I assume it's going to be pretty tough since I don't have the Thief's Ring on. I'm just going to get swarmed by enemies. And by the way, the enemies in this area, they just fucking love to do this attack where they push you twice. It's a stun lock, so if you get hit by it once, you're going to get hit twice. And they just shove you, like, really far. And, of course, it's great when you're just standing on the edge of a platform and you get shoved right off to your death. Okay, where now? So when I drop down here, I think there's like a bunch of enemies. Ooh, Dark Moon Grass, that's a nice drop. It's one of the strongest grasses in the game. This is much easier since I have such a long weapon than it could be. Even if you were using a falchion, as great as a falchion is, it's very fast, but it's in a way not as good as the halberd for just like crowd controlling smaller enemies. It's amazing for DPS against bosses. Also, if you don't make that drop exactly right, you will die, by the way. Like if you go just a little too far to the left or right, that fall kills you. It's fairly finicky. This is a wizard that drops Faint Stone, which is for blessed weapons. Oh god. I'm glad that guy didn't do the push attack, or I would probably be dead. Yeah, get out of the way. There's my blessed mace. Died here today. Yeah, it's very easy to die in 5-1. And like you say, 5-2 is long, but it's not too hard once you know where the fuck to go. Yeah. Alright, let's see here. I do happen to have a Widow's Lotus. Not sure where I got it, but that cures plague. Ugh, now you got this ugly mofo. Oh, actually, another thing. I'm gonna pop some souls and buy some shit. Because this NPC up here sells something rather useful.
Won't you buy something? My poor child is hungry.
You see, you don't meet a demon, you don't meet an NPC in the other games that's like this. Like, Dark Souls is practically notorious for its oddball NPCs, and Patches might be one of the weirdest ones, but this game's just full of people who are just chilling, yelling at you for whatever reason. There's like a opera singer sitting in a jail cell who sells you stuff, who's just singing when you're not buying stuff from her. Like, what the fuck? They came up with some wacky shit in this game. Which is another reason I would love to see a PS4 remake of this. Like an actual remake, not like Dark Souls Remastered. Like, it's in 60 FPS now. Completely different. 1 inch next to the bird's nest. Yes. I'm not sure what the lore behind... Oh shit, there's rocks that fall here, aren't there? Or maybe they already fell. I hope they did. So this is one of the big goblins. And these guys honestly are so much worse than the Shreks from Dark Souls 1. They're kind of similar in that you can't stagger them and they're dangerous, but they're so fast by comparison. Like, the Shreks are really slow. You know what I'm talking about. They're those big guys in Blighttown. These guys are just fucking really speedy by comparison. I guess I'll just... I'm trying to get the big guy to go up the steps so I can get behind him, but now his friend is blocking him. Jeez. No. And here we go. Just want to kill that guy. Alright, fuck it. We'll try to kill this guy. We do some pretty good damage to him. And I guess he broke because he's not even attacking us. Alright, that wasn't too bad. Didn't fight him head on, though. And later on, when you get to fucking the last area, you have to fight those guys in the swamp where you can't roll around, and they can fucking move at full speed, of course. I can't even see. Stupid camera. Okay. Well, I got him. Oh, I keep forgetting I don't have a Talisman of God equipped. And also, maybe I could wear the Blessed Mace. Just for the... Oh, it's too heavy. 2.5... Alright, we're good. I'm gonna hold on to this Blessed Mace because it actually does heal you when you have it equipped. I don't know. Not much point. One thing to note that's different from this game, that's different from later games as well, is that in this game, when you're poisoned or toxic, it halves your healing. Whatever grass you use will be halved. Okay, let me see here. I missed some messages. Do you like Metroidvania-style games? Honestly, I really do. I've never streamed them, but I do enjoy playing them. I'm too, like, trapped in my ways to stream them most of the time. Either that, or I don't usually like listening to 8-bit games on earphones. So I probably just shouldn't do that, but I don't know how to when streaming. I want to stream more 8-bit games. I don't know. And also 16-bit games. Or just put Judicator's Shield. Yeah, that's a great healing item. But I don't like putting that on my back because it's so bulky. They make it look as shitty as possible. It looks like it's got poop smeared all over it. And they just want to make you feel bad that you're wearing the shield that heals you. And it just looks so bad sticking out of your back. I'd rather have a mace on my side, even though it looks kind of weird. At least it's smaller. It's not as powerful as healing with Judicator. Okay, it's just like his brain is dying. Oh wow, I didn't know they could drop those. Neat. But yeah, later on when you try to fight those guys in the swamp, it's just fucking impossible. Like you can only move around at like this speed, and you can't roll. You can try to block them, but it's not going to go well. Dreadful. I'm about to recommend Hollow Knight. Okay, I'm not supposed to say this, but I did briefly play Hollow Knight at my work. Yeah, I'll say that much. Oh jeez. Okay, I thought I was going to fall all the way down. Where is my thing? I don't remember which one that is. I think I saw it. Oh, I got hit by stuff. Oh, of course. Fuck. Oh. Okay, don't fucking... Hold on a second here. I need to get fucking full moon grass out. Wait a second, game. Just give me a second here. I'm trying to figure out my inventory. Okay. Let's attack the boss. This boss is actually really hard to dodge if you're up close. Like, it's an easy boss, but I don't know how the fuck to dodge him. You just have to, like, get out of his range. But then when you're out of his range, he does annoying leech attacks. Like, I know you can kind of roll, but he doesn't telegraph anything. It's weird. Oh, hey there, Tug. This is the game that's darker than Dark Souls. The actually Dark Souls. But, how's it going, man? Group of 4 near an island. There's Red Phantom versions of those guys if your world tendency is down, which you want if you're farming certain items. Okay, so that's 5-1. Might as well use the wriggling demon soul.
Thou seekest soul power, dost thou not?
Yes, yes.
Soul of the mind, key to life's art thou done?
Okay, where next? Well, since Tug's here, I better fight the Flame Lurker to show off my mad skills. This will either go very smoothly or very poorly. I don't know. People like to talk about how Flame Lurker in this game's not that hard. It's just hard because people sucked back when this came out. Fuck no, man. Flame Lurker holds up, I think, as an annoying fucking boss. There's just a lot of ways to cheese him, and I don't know. He's just got... I really love the Flame Lurker boss design because he's got just a different... There's kind of a I just feel like there's kind of a predictable pattern to how bosses work in the games since, like, Bloodborne. In Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3, they have really hard bosses sometimes, but there's always kind of a set way you fight a boss in those games that doesn't really break the pattern. Like, you go into arena, you fight the boss, you dodge at the right time. Sometimes it's really fucking hard to dodge, but that's how it works. In this game, you'll go into a room and the boss will just like cover you in spider webs and then shoot you, or the boss will just be flying, and it's like, well, you better have arrows or a special sword that shoots the sky. Like, this game gives very few fucks when it comes to like having a streamlined way of fighting bosses, which I kind of find is interesting. Okay, Yuria the Witch, aka Carla. AKA one of the witches of Izalith from Dark Souls 1. Is that the right place? I can't even see where I'm going, but I've gone here enough times that I'm pretty sure I'm doing it right. Because again, it's actually darker for me than it probably is for you guys. So anywho, I just raved a bunch about... I'm also, this is a 420 stream, Tug, so if I seem to blabber on a little bit, it's probably because I'm a little bit stoned. But that's just how things go. I should probably toke up again before Flame Lurker, but I'm too lazy. Might as well be as sober as I can be. Flame Lurker is weak to magic, so you want to cover your weapon in sticky white stuff. Yeah, that's what they used back in the day. Sticky fucking white stuff. Because, you know, aromatic ooze just wasn't suggestive enough. Oh, wait, I do have time to toke if I just do it during this cutscene. Hang on. I don't know where they're... Alright, here we go. Oh, it's nice of him to just stand there and wait for you. If you don't walk forward, he doesn't aggro. Dry herb vape. Yeah, vapes can be really nice. The high feel is a little different, though. I kind of like smoking more, but vapes are certainly better for you. Oh shit, my sticky white stuff's running out. I forgot about that. Oh well. Okay. Halberd makes this a lot easier. And Sticky Wipe stuff's gone. I'll apply it again when he gets to lower health. Yeah. His melee attacks do the most damage. The things where he just uses his hands. And he does higher and higher damage the lower health he gets. And he becomes faster the lower health he gets. Which is essentially the closest this game came to having phases in a boss fight. Okay. I should warn the Ring of Flame resistance. Well, where am I? He's covering the whole screen. Ow, fuck it. Woo. God damn. Range is really important here. Yeah, that's the thing. And yeah, I was thinking about the sticky white stuff. Like, someone's got to clip that. Because I just had to fucking take a few hits of weed right before fighting the Flame Lurker. But yeah, now that I think about it, Halberd's got to be one of the best weapons for fighting this boss. Let's see, I don't think we've had any actual deaths this playthrough so far, come to think of it. This is Demon Souls Permadeath Run. Heh. While toking. I'm sure we'll die somewhere. It's probably better to just not actively try to not die, because once you start butt clenching, you stop relaxing, and then things go bad. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to finish World 5, because it has, like, the easiest fucking bosses. Oh, I forgot to level up. I guess I'll do that after this level. Almost got you. Yeah, that was a close call. I got real boxed in there. He can do that very easily because he just advances on you when he gets to lower health. And eventually you get against a wall. There's various ways to approach that boss fight, but my favorite way is to just stay unlocked and wait until he's done an attack and then just go in. You can do that with shorter weapons too, it's just you don't get as much damage off as with longer weapons, since you can afford to hit him and whatnot. Let's see here. But the thing that I really like about that boss is that it's really hard to approach it like you would like any of the bosses from Dark Souls 3 or Bloodborne, practically, where you lock onto the boss, you dodge. Like, there's just so many attacks that you can't realistically dodge if you're up close to the Flame Lurker, which kind of changes the whole game. It's now... there are bosses in the other games that are kind of comparable to that, where it's like, eventually they whip out an AoE attack that you have to go away from, but this is like an entire boss fight of the fart attack from Quelaag, you know? Just imagine that. You know what attack I'm talking about. But let's see. Let's get a Royal Lotus out. I mean, I want to save Dark Moon Lotus. Dragon God. Oh, you could finish. Dragon God's easy, but it always spooks me out. You know, come to think about it, that does probably make a lot of sense, but I'm gonna go do this since I'm here. Maybe I'll go do Dragon God after this. I still am fucking freaked out every time I fight Dragon God, because he is easy, but there's just... I don't know exactly what the strats that most reliably are, but I have a strat that makes it pretty simple. I don't know. By the way, if you've just played Dark Souls, the swamp in Demon Souls is way worse because you can't roll. It does this to you. You just fucking stick there. which is not like Dark Souls 1. Blighttown is forgiving, because at least you can roll your way through the swamps. In this, you're just, like, totally immobilized. And there's actually a weird trick where you can, in Demon Souls, you can conserve stamina by switching weapons. It's weird. I'll show you in a sec. So when you switch weapons, it makes your stamina bar go up slightly, so you can run a little longer. That's like a tiny speedrun optimization, but it is kind of nifty. Okay, so these guys are all going to be chasing me, since I don't have Thief's Ring. Thief's Ring makes this place a million times easier, by the way, as you can imagine. You can just not aggro most of these enemies. Can they chase me down here? I'm not really sure, but I assume not. Yeah, as you can imagine, getting your bearings for this level is a fucking nightmare. Oh, I just picked up the Thief's Ring. Well, shit. I said I wasn't going to use the Thief's Ring this playthrough, but there's another Thief's Ring here, because they're like, you know what, if you were dumb enough to not find the Thief's Ring, here you go. Here you fucking go. Wait, did I go the wrong way? I think I need to go... Oh, I don't know. I'm starting to get lost. Oh, no. I don't think this is the way. Like, all I needed to do was follow the islands. I'll just... Okay, I should be going this way, then. Just give me a second here. Whoa, what? No, I didn't mean to do that. Break the shit. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm going the right way now, I think. Okay, here's the thing. It is, again, it's harder to see for me because there's a lot of sunlight in this room. So there's a whole lot of pitch black. You guys should guide me. Tell me if I'm getting warmer. Because, you know, you totally know where to go, right? Everyone knows where to go right now. I'm literally just wandering towards some lights in the distance. It's the classic mistake in any RPG swamp. You don't just follow the lights. Lord of the Rings might have been where that came from. Oh, fuck. Okay, no, they're just little guys. They're not... No, they are giants. I thought with this perspective that there was little guys. That was a crazy perspective. Okay, get me the fuck out of here. Holy shit. I took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. Stream is super dark? Okay, well good. Then you guys can't see anything more than I can. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm back on track now. Climb the fuck up there, you bastard. Okay. Okay, now we're back. This is where I was supposed to go. Jesus Christ. We strayed off the path. Yeah, if you play this game in a dark room, it's not as bad, but it's... Oh my god. You know what? It's Demon Souls. I don't know. There's a lot of darkness, okay? It doesn't have dark in the title. It's dark. It's supposed to be dark. It's so dark it's a sin. Alright, now I just wander off this way. Whoa. Calm down, guys. There's like a thing here. And this should take me to this. Path of least resistance. Sword. Wow, look at that hyper armor. I just poised right through that guy's attack when I did the spin move. Okay. You see what I mean about how they push you around? That stuff happens... Oh, and there's the fart spell. Nice. Alright. Pop a Lotus. half Moongrass. Now I need to equip more Turpentine. Now, Black Turpentine is kind of like Charcoal Pine Bundle from Dark Souls 3. It's stronger than the other Turpentine, but it doesn't last as long. And I just got hit by the maggots. Now there's fucking flies on me or whatever. The last boss this boss is just like tons of buzzing flies. This boss is like embarrassingly easy. You can be pretty low level and still beat this guy pretty easily. Kill it with fire. Like the funny thing about this boss room is that there's actually like a pit where you can fall into a plague swamp. If you fall down off of this thing, there's like a whole plague swamp area under the boss room that you can fall into, and it's like kind of confusing to get back out. You have to like climb up somewhere. But more than likely you're just not gonna fall there because there aren't like holes in the floor or anything like that. It's just like on the side of the arena. It's a very strange boss room design. Oh, there's some Dark Moongrass though. Dark Moongrass is the strongest grass in the game because it's essentially a divine blessing from Dark Souls 1. It cures all status ailments and fully heals you, no matter how much HP you have. So yeah, that's what Dark Moongrass does. New Moongrass is just the equivalent, but it doesn't cure status ailments. It just heals all of your health. There you go. Wait, since I didn't go back to the Nexus, that means that the world tendency is darker than it would be if I'd gone back first. Every time you beat a boss, your world tendency becomes lighter, which causes all the enemies to have less health, drop fewer upgrade materials, and also do less damage, including the bosses. So, but it only takes effect once you've gone back to the Nexus once after killing a boss. So if you don't go back to the Nexus after killing the boss, then your world tendency will not have gone up. So I'm just giving you context for why forgetting to go back to the Nexus does actually make the game a little harder.
This is a sanctuary for the lost and wretched. There is nothing here for you to pillage or plunder.
Well, that's not true.
Please, leave quietly.
I shall let no harm come to dearest Destroyer.
Yeah, cool story, bro.
May you rot in the deepest depths of this swamp.
These guys are like politicians. They talk a big game, but they're sitting in a swamp filled with the most horrendous creatures I've ever fucking seen. Just saying. Like, if you're such a high and mighty humanitarian... Oh shit, that was close. I almost got fucking murdered. If he parries you, you're done. Halberd's pretty good against him. He drops something very useful, by the way. Dark Silver Shield. Best shield in the whole Souls series, pretty much. Waifu Defender boss. Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna drop... Oh wait, actually, I shouldn't drop that shit. I should drop other things, because I can actually wear that with this character. What do I drop? Yeah, I don't need gray stone. Don't need clear stone. I mean, I kind of... Okay, on second thought, I did kind of want to keep the clear stone, because if I take this character high enough level, maybe I can do a quality build in the foreseeable future. Oh my god, okay, hang on a second. This dramatic music is playing while I'm just sitting here I kind of want to try out the Dark Silver set, but I have so much heavy stuff that I don't want to get rid of. I could just get rid of both of these. Don't really want to, but let's see here. Okay, that about covers it then. I got rid of the other stuff. Out with the old and in with the new. That just looks goofy, but I kind of like it. It covers like your whole view. Oh, that looks so stupid. That looks so goddamn stupid. I'm gonna keep it. Alright. Sup.
You killed him, didn't you? Very well. I can no longer resist you. Do as you like. Take your
Well, they say I'm
precious
irresistible.
demon soul.
The timing on that was a little off, but you get the idea. Okay. She did. Finally have the soul of an archdemon, which means I can finally proceed in World 1. Okay, how much item burden? A lot of item burden. A whole lot of item burden. Let's just deposit all the stuff I don't need. I do need that stuff, but I don't need to have it in my inventory. Interestingly enough, you can actually still upgrade weapons while they're in your storage. Even if you go to the blacksmith who's in World 2, you don't have to have all the shards like on your person for him to do stuff. You actually can just have them stored in the Nexus. Which is an interesting change from the other games. The other games didn't really have, like, an easy storage that was just available to you all the time. I mean, I think Dark Souls 3 did, but... Anywho. I got a lot of souls. If I'm not doing anything with the Pure Blood Demon Soul, that gives you a lot of stuff. Bazing! 50,000 souls. Now, what will I actually seek? Now the question is, do I want more endurance or just more vitality? I'll get some endurance.
So the world might be mended. Art thou done? May thine strength help the world be mended.
Yeah. So... 2.5 and 5. That's gonna make me... No, I can still fast roll with that. That's good. So basically, the Dark Silver Shield has 100% magic block and 100% physical, and it's just kind of a... It doesn't have the greatest guard rate reduction, which is AKA stability, but it's definitely above average. Iton Bourbon. Yes. The thing that nobody had to worry about in the other Dark Souls games. Let's see. Is there anything else I can deposit? I don't know. I guess I shouldn't be lugging a club around. Don't really need the heater shield anymore. I should just store these, but my item burden's down a bit. Thing is, even your grasses weigh you down. Every grass is worth 0.1 burden, so if you have like 100 of them, that's a 10 units. Or did I do that math right? I think that's what it is. If it's 0.1, not 0.01. How do I even math? Okay, so where should I go now? I don't have any colorless demon souls, so there's not much point in of doing the blacksmith stuff. But basically, once you get the red hot demon soul, that's from the flame lurker, as it says right there, that is when you're allowed to upgrade boss weapons, which is stuff like Dragon Bone Smasher and whatnot. Basically all the badass weapons. You have to beat the flame lurker before you can upgrade them. There's something else that it unlocks, I don't really remember. Oh, and it's the one that lets you get boss weapons. Weapons where you turn in the soul to get the weapon. You have to have beaten the flame lurker before you can do that. Anyway, so we finished World 5. Part of why I wanted to do World 5 so early is so that I could do World 4 with the assistance of the Dark Silver Shield. Because Dark Silver Shield makes this world a bit easier. It's probably the hardest area in the whole game, you could argue. I mean, World 5 is pretty bad when you get lost and stuff. You definitely don't get lost in this level. It's completely linear, but it's fucking nasty. Especially when you don't have the Thief's Ring. So, I'm gonna just go in with my new armor and shield. This is probably my favorite world, though, honestly. I think it just looks really fucking cool. And I always noticed when I would see people playing this game that, man, it just doesn't really... I mean, it kind of looks like other areas in Dark Souls, but it's just got such a cool aesthetic, I think. It feels like you're playing Castlevania or something, except there's fucking stingrays flying around in the sky. Arcadey sense. Oh shit. That was close. Also, this is sometimes the first area you can encounter patches. You can go to this area very early in the game, by the way. You can go here before World 2 if you want.
I didn't mean to do
you get a lot of good loot.
Really? Come on now. We've got better things to fret about. That pit there is filled with treasure. But, I can't get to it myself. Go on. Have a look. It's more riches than I've ever dreamed of.
Fixing something on the computer, and oh well, I mean, I see no reason not to.
You? Have a look at that treasure down in the pit. Then we'll work out a way to fish it out.
You know, honestly, even if you'd never played a Dark Souls game in your life, you talk to this guy, and he's like the definition of sketch. And this is I feel like this cutscene was literally recycled in Dark Souls 1. Like, it's the same animation. It's identical.
Don't hold it against me, eh?
To the Tomb of the Giants part.
Then I'll sell every last trinket off your corpse.
Hey there, Ollie. How you doing? Welcome to Demon Souls.
Heavens! Did you fall for that little devil's trap? Well, I did the same. He fooled me, and now
yeah, that's very interesting. I'll talk to you some other time. Anyway, to get out of here, you gotta fight a red phantom. Ow. This phantom's actually pretty tough if it's early in the game, but it's still very beatable. You just gotta play really defensively. He's got 2 katanas. What a goddamn weeb. There's an actual Japanese guy who gets the Mikado sword. You can't call him a weeb because he's, you know, from Japan. But that guy seemed like a weeb. Let's see here. I don't know if he's from Japan in universe.
I'm really sorry. I didn't mean what I said. I mean, a man's got to make a living. There aren't many humans like us. We need to stick together.
He's not wrong.
Here, take this as a token of my friendship. You've seen one of these before, surely.
For whatever reason, this motherfucker sells the most useful items in, like, all the Souls games. Every time he's a vendor, he sells useful shit that you kind of really want. But you just want to murder him, you know? Like, why leave him alive after everything he's done? And I'm going the wrong way. Let's go... Where the fuck am I? Okay, we're out in the main area again. Let's go onward. There's another secret area you can access from there. Oh, this part is gonna suck so bad without the Thief's Ring. Okay. You can make those guys fall pretty reliably. But meanwhile, you got fucking guys shooting at you. And by the way, don't even bother trying to kill these guys. I've never been able to really do it. Even when you get arrows, they're so far away. And they're at such weird angles. It's very difficult. And there's just so many. Oh, shit. Alright, I forgot to whip out a soul remains. These big guys don't fuck around. Okay. Ow. Alright, so what I should be doing is I should get out these soul remains and use those. Soul remains are essentially alluring skulls from Dark Souls. Except they work on way more enemies in this game. Relative, like, they're actually very important for, like, no-hit runs, and I think speedrunners use them. A little bit, maybe. They work on pretty much everything. Whoa! I was just picking up the item. Jeez. Alright. As long as I can get past them. Alright. I should clear out these enemies. Whistle tip. Looking at what's going on. Dr. Handshake. Sorry if I sound totally out of it, it's because I am. This area actually only has enemies when you're at pure Black World tendency. Jerks. Throwing giant spears at me. Okay. Just wander around these guys. This is where the Dark Silver Shield comes in handy. Brother. Don't really know how they figured out 100 Fizz was a good idea. Played the hell out of this in PS3 when it dropped. Ah, yeah. Glad to hear. I wish I could have played this a little closer to its release, but I didn't start playing it until last year. played all the other Dark Souls games first. Because I just didn't own a PS3. What the hell? I've always been more of a PC person. Alright, I'm just gonna kill these guys because sticky white stuff is actually very useful. As weird as it sounds. I mean, this is the source of all the sticky white stuff. It's just a bunch of slugs. There's nothing weird about it. It's just slug stuff. Okay, it's pretty weird. And there's also where you get Sucka Stone. The invaders back in the day were non-stop. Ugh. I believe it. Scraping spear invasions all the way. It is cool, pretty cool to think what this was like in the early days when it was actually played online. Because even like when I started playing this a little bit before the servers were shut down, but I don't think it was working at the time. Like at some point the North American servers stopped working properly or something. For whatever reason you could only play it if you had the PAL version or the Japanese version. Wait, the Japanese version was I don't remember. I don't remember what that was about, but long story short, I didn't get to play it online. They have private servers now, but it's not exactly the same thing. Not gonna bother picking up this item in the middle because it is a katana. Dex builds. So what was your favorite way to play this game, just out of curiosity? Whistle tip. What kind of builds did you prefer? Were you more of a PvP person, or did you just sort of notice that there were lots of invaders? Am I going the right way? Yes. Finally. Dip, dip, dip. It's so hard to see. In a sunny room. Okay, we're good. At last. We can proceed. This is a cool boss fight, I think. I wonder how it'll be without the Thief's Ring. The Thief's Ring helps so much. Interesting camera angle. So for this boss, you gotta be sneaky. Really? You're still onto me? Okay. He loses track of you for weird reasons. He's just like, okay, I was just hitting you over there, but now I'm just gonna walk this way. To completely throw myself off. He has a lot of health, too. certainly jumps around more when you don't have the Thief's Ring on. Come on. Okay, you just gotta not make noise. Because as soon as you're like at running at a decent clip, he'll know where you are. Ooh, that was close. Still see me? Oh, I guess he can. Definitely more intense than that with these. Boss soul weapons were awesome. Demon Axe was my go-to big strength builds and heavy armor. You mean the Dozer Axe? Notorious, yeah. Scraping Spear for life, man. That was just the best item to have in a game. For maximum salt. Okay, we got our hero demon soul. I don't know. I never used the Dozer Axe much because it does have considerably lower damage than the Great Axe or the Dragon Bone Smasher, but it's not bad. Just has a lot lower scaling. It's certainly easier to upgrade than the fucking Great Axe. You need to get a ludicrous amount of upgrade materials. And it's longer than a Great Axe, so... yeah, maybe it's good. My go-to is just the Dragon Bone Smasher, because it has like such a weirdly fast running attack. It's kind of ridiculous. Just love the way it looks, so that's for sure. The weapons... I don't know. There's not much moveset variety in the sense that for every different type of weapon, there's basically no variation in how the moves work. Like, all Great Axes have the same moveset, all Straight Swords have the same moveset, so on and so forth. But, the movesets themselves are still really cool, I think, in this game. Okay, what am I doing? I'm leveling up. But I need to take a break for a second to wash my mouth out. It's getting a little dry. Okay. Level up once more. Then I will be right back. Just a few seconds. Alright, I'm back. Honestly, it's really nice to do a stream with just using speakers for a change. I always avoid doing that because I'm like freaking out about how there's gonna be echo in the mic. Well, hopefully the echo's not too bad. I assume there's a little bit of it, but it's turned down low enough that I can hear everything that's happening mostly in the game without it being too overwhelming. Let's see, what am I doing? I usually play for cosmetics more than the efficiently in Demon and Dark Souls. Okay, well, as a certain Lobos Jr. once said, you're only really as good as you look. So, I mean, really, like, I kind of have OCD when it comes to Dark Souls and just, like, freak out about all the nitty-gritty details. Which weapon is technically better in this situation, and what's the context of every... I kind of do a thing that totally spoils the fun for most people. So, but that's like what I obsess over in these games. So I see why people... And it's not like you have to be completely ignorant about stuff. I just mean, like, you can learn about all that stuff without obsessing over... Did you know that there's this specific thing that's better than this thing in Dark Souls? Like, I'm very critical of my own way that I get into it. But I also have those preferences when it comes to looks, but it's only for, like, a couple things, just because I mostly like items that look really simple and, like, you could actually maybe use them in real life. I guess I'm boring that way, but yeah, Demon's Souls, I don't know, I particularly like the Dragon Bone Smasher. It literally looks like a giant dog bone. I don't even know, man. It's like every weapon in this game is fairly small compared to some of the average weapons in, like, Dark Souls 3 and Dark Souls 1, but then you get the Dragon Bone Smasher that's just like, there's just gonna be this one really fucking big and powerful weapon that has dominion over all other big and powerful weapons in the universe. Speaking of which, I should probably go fight that boss now. I don't have enough... Oh shit, I just realized. I have enough item burden to hold it. I think I do. It's 20 units, so... I just grab that. One cool thing about the Dozer Axe is it works with the Master Ring to boost your damage, but it also kind of reduces your damage. There's a whole convoluted thing with axes in this game where they have direct and non-direct hit damage. Okay, oh shit, does the Death's Ring also affect this guy a lot? I'd be fucking surprised. I don't really remember if the Thief Ring affects this guy. Hopefully not much. Okay, so there's kind of a strat, maybe. And then that causes him to break a certain thing, I think? Also had the armor from the guy that helps you against the boss with the big sword. That's Bior's armor, right. Very good. The heavy armors in this game look fucking awesome. I'll say that's definitely for sure. I'm fine. Wow, that wasn't that much damage. Is that what you got, Dragon God? You little bitch. Oh, to be fair, I'm at pure white world tendency right now, so that makes the boss do less damage. The reason I'm at pure white is because I haven't died in this world yet. If you die once, you won't be at pure white. People compare this to Bed of Chaos, but it's nowhere near as hard as Bed of Chaos. It's like that first part is the hardest part because when you approach it just intuitively, it can be really annoying because he just like seems to hit you earlier than you would think. Wait, what? He saw me? What a jerk. I should just use... not that. I don't know what to use. I guess I'll just keep using this stupid thing. Still waiting for a master. Probably won't happen because of Sony. Yeah, you never know. Sometimes they're willing to remaster their games, like with Shadow of the Colossus. But yeah, I would like to see like an actual remaster that doesn't do what Dark Souls Remastered did, and like I don't know. I wouldn't want them to change too many things. I'm sure the community would. We need to rebalance the game. Yada yada yada. There's a lot of things they could mess with, but at the very least, like a game that looks like a new game and doesn't just have the identical engine to this would be pretty sweet. And if they can polish off the game in any way, well, they better be damn good at it. Port with just better graphics. Yeah. That's fair enough, I guess. I'm down with a port with better graphics as well, but you can only really, like with a port, it's hard to really overhaul the graphics fully without, like, changing certain things like menus and stuff. But if they could make it look as good as the Shadow of the Colossus remaster, that would be I didn't really like the character models in Shadow of the Colossus Remastered too much. I kind of preferred the old ones, but everything else, like the lighting and just the way it was changed, I thought was a great example of how to do a PS4 remaster of an old-ass game. Although they did add stupid things. I can't find a single one of those goddamn pieces of shit. Shadow of the Colossus. I should just do a stream of me wandering around aimlessly looking for coins. Because I can certainly provide a lot of content in that regard. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about, but Shadow of the Colossus. I need to stream that game more. I haven't had access to my PS4 for a few weeks now, because I'm letting someone borrow it, basically. And they've been using it a lot. I'm able to use it when I go to their house, but I figure it's fine to not use it for a while just because I have my PC and PS3. Okay, so I don't need to add a whole other console in all the time like I've been doing. Already play too many games as it is.
Thou seekest soul power, dost thou not? Then touch the demon inside me. Soul of the mind, key to life's ether. Soul of the lost, withdrawn from its vessel. Art thou done? May thine strength help the world be mended.
Alright, well, I really need to end the stream. So, I will see you guys all later. I'll pick this up again at some point, finish off the game. Maybe not die through the whole game, who knows.